the Triforce and it feels right. Like Bowser, you can listen all night, singing peaches until the sun lights. Summer shoots her beam so bright. Master hand always brings a fight. Catch 'em all and use that fire blast. Put the soul back to visit your past. Welcome to the Nintenbyte Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nintenbyte Podcast. And I totally have nothing ready to go over here because the computer rebooted. So that being said, I think it's episode 23.
Yes, that is what the title says.
That is what the title says. So let's, while I'm getting set up myself, let's go around the room and introduce everyone who's here. Starting at the bottom with John Nebo.
Oh, I'm by myself down here. I must smell.
Yourself.
Well, what's up? Excited to be here again.
Nice to have you back, buddy. Let's see here. We got, oh man, Hoops and Hip. I almost forgot you were even on today. Hoops and Hip Hop is here.
Yeah, welcome, or I guess thanks for having me. Glad to be back. It's been a minute since I've been on, but
hell yeah, dude.
So
let's see here. We have well, Eric is here.
No,
his camera might be a little laggy. We don't know what's going on. It's probably the computer because the computer has broken fans in it. I don't know.
Yeah,
but hey, we're here. He's here. You can see his beautiful face. That's what matters. Wearing a Green Bay Packers shirt on a Brewer playoff day. That is what it is.
Yep.
That's because he just knew. He already knew we were going to lose. That is what it is. Sumbro Nation up in the house.
Hey, happy to be back. Thanks for having me. Nate, I text you that I was hoping that we would have a Switch 2 official reveal by time this date was here. And, you know, it's more unfortunate for you since I know you got to do the hot chip challenge, but I'm happy to be back nonetheless and talk through some more Switch 2 rumors before we hopefully get a reveal by time I'm on the podcast again next time. So we'll see what happens in October.
I love talking the rumors and everything's great, but it would be nice to finally talk some like, hey, it's actually revealed now. That would be.
Oh yeah,
maybe this is the month.
Maybe it's finally time. Maybe it's not. You know, Nintendo does a good job of like calming everything down just enough to make you feel like, yeah, you know, all those theories you had, they're out the window. And I feel like just when you give up is when they drop it. So
yeah, so it won't be this month. I'll give up. I'll like, you know what? Fuck it. It's March. It's happening in March, and all of a sudden it's like November 3rd. Here you go. What?
Yep.
All right. Game Junction is here as long as you can hear us.
I can hear you. What's up, everybody?
Welcome, man. Thunder Stash Gaming's up in the house with his Maniac Mansion shirt.
Ready for October, man. What's up?
Yeah.
Hey, how fitting. Episode 23, and Hoops has the goat in his background.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too.
That worked out.
That's beautiful.
That is awesome. I can't. That's a good catch there. And then you guys know what's up with me, guys. I'm the Nintendo Prime host of the show. Let's not beat around the bush. We had to start a few minutes late due to some technical difficulties. So let's go ahead and get to our topic roulette.
What?
Before we do that, one thing I want to tell people. I know that we originally the plan was we were going to do our Echoes of Wisdom pseudo review this week, but we're actually going to wait another week. People just haven't played enough of it. So we're just going to wait another week, figure another week, more time for all of us to play it, more time for, we have a guest coming on next week that I know will already have it beat by then too. So we'll do that review next week. Although, I mean, Thunderstash's review might be dropping way before that show happens. I have no idea.
It will be.
Yeah, it will be. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it will be. So we already have his thoughts. But then I can prod his brain and try to tell him this game sucks. No, I'm just kidding. I'm having a really good time with Echoes of Wisdom.
Same.
Me too.
All right. So let's get to our topic. Let's start with let me see. You know what? Let's start with Eric. Let's just get you out of the way in case this game gets crazy with the Brewers later.
What? So because I'm not paying attention?
Exactly.
Should I start out with the short one with the Super Mario Bros. New movie deep cuts?
Oh, hey, if that's what you want.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. Yeah. We have a little bit of a story on the new Mario movie. So that should be an interesting one. We'll see how long that topic goes for. Maybe it goes forever.
Yeah.
Maybe we have like an infinite list of deep cuts. All right, let's go with Let's have Thunderstash. Which one do you want, bud?
I will take. Brain, you got a topic? You got a topic in your back pocket?
He's asking if you have a dealer's choice topic.
If you don't, I
can
think
come
I
up
got
with
one.
one.
I think I got one. If
Oh, okay. Yeah, go for
I
yours.
think I
then.
do.
So
Okay.
he's the dealer's choice.
Yeah.
I would be like, he takes it almost
Yeah.
every time we have it, but
Teamwork.
yeah, but Stash and Junction and Eric, they already know I was struggling with topics earlier today because I got a lot of stuff going on right now. I'll probably tell them a bit after the show. Except maybe not Game Junction. That's a dip probably right away.
Yeah.
Depending on how late the show goes, Stash might have to dip too, unless his wife comes and brings him a nice old In-N-Out burger again.
I want to try to stay as long as I can. I do got to be up pretty dang early. Though.
Hey, Steve's wife, are you watching? He just said that would be nice. You might want to come through with that late night In-N-Out delivery. All right, let's go to Game Junction. Which one do you want? I'll pick last today.
Yeah, let's do the Ryu Jinx one because I'm pretty interested in that. So,
all right, yeah. There's a couple stories mixed in with that one because they're also going after a YouTuber, which I find
it's interesting.
And then that leaves me, guys, of course, with the big one, the big Switch 2 topic. It is what it is. For some reason, I always usually end up with that topic, but that's okay. So, Eric, what is our first topic?
Let me get back to the topics page here. So Keegan-Michael Key, the voice of Toad, spoke into. Oh, good God!
Can you read?
No, I cannot. Yup. Spoken about a few details about the new Mario movie.
You need a beer to calm the nerves, buddy.
Oh fuck! I don't know what the hell's going on. So he spoke in detail about the Mario movie. I feel like what they've done creatively is they've really widened out the universe that these characters live in, and we're going to meet some new folks. We're going to meet some new folks that are old favorites and some folks that I think are really deep cuts. But because of the way the story is laying itself out right now, those characters are going to be very intriguing. What deep cut characters would you love to see in a new Mario movie, and what lands would you like to visit?
Ooh, man, that is. Gosh.
That's a tough question.
Because it sounds like it's not gonna be like just Mushroom Kingdom. It kind of sounds like they're expanding to other areas, and that there's gonna be characters that people wouldn't expect. That
I have a feeling that deep cut to Keegan-Michael Key might not be that deep cut to us. So maybe like Shy Guy, I guess Shy Guy was on the first one, but
they could put Gino in because that might not be considered as deep of a deep cut now because Thousand Year Door came out.
Yeah.
If we're talking about area, what about the God, I forget the name from Super Mario Land. Like, what was that called?
from Six Golden Coins.
Sarasa Land.
Let's see. It is. I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Rob, I remember playing the hell out of it, but I don't remember the name of the land.
It was Sarasa Land.
Sarasa Land. Okay.
Sorry, my audio cut out again, so
It is.
I was like, "Oh, nobody's replying to me."
Okay. Gosh, I mean, look, he's Toad, right? So, how about God? No, I can't go with that character. Because I was thinking, what would Keegan-Michael Key consider a deep cut? Maybe just a character from an older game, or maybe even like an older is there like a Donkey Kong character we didn't have in the first movie?
I know I was kind of looking that up a little bit.
Yeah, I just pulled up a list of all the characters.
Dixie Kong was not in. Dixie Kong was not. Diddy and Dixie both. Wait, was Diddy in there?
It says Diddy and Dixie were in there.
It was a little like cameo when they showed the crowd.
Okay.
And Cranky was in there.
Yeah, I haven't rewatched it for enough of the little small background stuff. I saw it in theaters when it came out, and then once again on streaming. But
Funky Kong. I think they had a picture of Funky Kong.
Yeah.
Nice.
but they didn't have Funky Kong
Yeah,
actually in.
yeah, I was thinking that one of the Kongs I don't think was there. That might be the one.
Was Cranky there?
Yeah, and he's on this list. Let me send you guys this list in the
Oh, Funky Kong
In the
was in,
private.
that's right. I forgot he was in that
Yeah.
one little flash scene with the Rainbow Road. That's right. He was driving one of the cars. He was wearing the sunglasses.
I bet you they could get like, Nabbit, like some, like extra side character from some of the more recent 2D Marios, but they may go like super historical as well. I'm hoping not necessarily character, like tied to the characters, but I hope we see, I guess, Mario get like the N64 power-ups, like if he's like Metal Mario, and then he gets the wing cap at a certain point, like kind of those type of throwbacks is more what I'm like really hoping for. The characters will be cool too, obviously. But
what if they did some characters from like Wario Land?
Yeah.
Like what's that? Captain Syrup. Trying to think of who else. I think one of the characters is Stanley. I don't know, just some like obscure characters in the Mario universe would be kind of cool.
I mean, Wario in general is not. He wasn't in it, right?
No,
He's not on this list.
Wario and Waluigi are prime candidates to be there.
Yeah, if they just brought in like characters from that world, that would be cool, along with Wario, obviously.
I mean, I can see them thinking that those are deep cuts, especially like Waluigi, because he's only in spin-off games.
True.
Yeah, I was like, if it's like Rosalina, like that's just not a deep cut. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
Rosalina appearing in multiple, spin-off games plus mainline. Like that's why I kept thinking it would have been like at one point Pauline would have been, but then she came back.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Pauline wouldn't really be a big deep cut.
I don't think it was like referenced in the movie at all. I'm more struggling to remember what characters like weren't featured at all in the movie because it's been long enough that I can't.
They put so many in there too.
Right, but I'm thinking like stuff that like chases you, like the sun that comes down with the face from like Super Mario World,
Mhm.
or like that Phanto or face that's in the Super Mario Bros. 2, which was technically Doki Doki Panic, but that would be a cool little deep cut when you go into the room and then there's that like mask looking face that chases you around and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
There's
was
like
thinking
the
about
Elder
that,
Star
too.
they could do, a lot of different little cool things, cool cameos that could pop up.
I think one way to introduce another movie franchise would be to bring Tom Nook in, and they can bring oh my god, why did I just space on the Animal Crossing? There we go, movie. Jesus, whoo.
Yeah, they could. This is one that I think it is kind of a deep cut. Birdo.
I was thinking that too. Yeah, but
Yep.
I couldn't
Like,
remember.
that's one that
Birdo was
people like
already in.
know, but isn't really in like anything.
Wart could be a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, warts.
What about Professor Egad?
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say him.
That's
Yep.
who
Well,
I.
there is the rumor of the Luigi's
Yeah.
Mansion movie. So.
Mhm.
We have
Yeah, they probably
big
did
men.
it for that.
That'd
Then.
be great end credit. Or post credit scene where
Another
it
one that-
introduces Luigi's Mansion. Egad comes in.
That'd be cool.
I'm sorry, this might be a hot take, but I'm not excited about a Luigi's Mansion movie. I wish they would do anything else in the Mario universe.
Then I'm all for it, man.
I'm all in too.
Dude, I'm all in on Luigi. Let's go, man.
I like the
It's
games,
time
but
to shine.
I don't need.
It'd
to
probably be pretty funny.
Luigi's film. I'd be all over that, man.
Like, think about how funny the game is.
It's funny,
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
I like the games
A
a
movie
lot.
would be probably very comical.
Also,
But
they have
I-
Charlie Day. Charlie Day is the voice, so like
Mm.
that'd be good.
They
Yeah,
could
I'd
do it
rather
in a
see
way.
Donkey Kong movie
They-
to me anyway.
They could do it in a way where it starts out in Luigi's Mansion, but by the end, like the second half of the movie, he's saved Mario or whatever the case, and they gotta take out Bowser or figure out get out of the situation. Does it have to like? I mean, I could see it like 90%. I feel like if it's 90% in the mansion setting and that's like the whole thing, I could see how that would maybe get a little bit stale by the end of it. They could pull it off either way, but I would like to see it like where the whole beginning of the movie is Luigi's Mansion, and then it transitions into the broader where they're headed out to after that together.
Well, what about Mario RPG universe and the Mario and Luigi? I mean, we're getting a new Mario and Luigi. We just had a Mario RPG remake last year. You got to ask if any of those characters will make it in, like Gino.
Bring on Gino. I'm all for that.
I would love
I think
that.
Mr. L might show up.
Mallow be in there.
Oh, I love Mallow.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, anything from Thousand Year Doors, just bring them all in.
Yep.
I'm for it.
Man,
The Koopa kids were not really around in the last one, were they?
No, they weren't.
Yeah, I mean they should all be featured, and it should be it should almost be like in a as you're progressing, like one of them's getting knocked back to another universe or something where they can't interfere anymore. The same way that Mario takes them out as he progresses and beats the worlds and stuff. Like they should like kind of subtly be knocking out the Koopa kids as they go out throughout the movie.
Yeah, that could make a lot of sense.
I mean, Bowser Jr. wasn't even in there.
And with
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, that's
true.
There's gonna be they got plenty of characters.
Because Bowser was captured at the end. I wonder if like the story here will be the Koopalings come to like save their dad or something.
Oh yeah, that could be.
That's yeah.
Because
I
Bowser,
feel like
it's
they
not
could-
like the normal Bowser. He's actually captured and shrunken in a cage.
Mm-hmm.
They could stretch this out to 6-7 movies. I mean, easy.
Well,
right?
I think it's planned to have infinite movies until there's not $1 billion franchise. Why would they stop?
It's true. I mean, yeah.
I mean, what they should do is they should do 3, like Sonic is doing 3, and then when it comes time to do another movie, that's when they bring in like Link or Zelda or whatever and start mixing things up.
Well, then
adventure
like
style.
with
that's just to keep
with
it
Sonic
fresh,
2, they had like the Knuckles series, so they could do stuff like that where they've got like series that attached to the movies. And
Here it is, Mario movie 4. We're going to Hyrule, everyone.
God, I don't know if I want to see that.
I mean, I'm cool. See, here's the thing: like people joke about the whole, of doing a Smash Bros. Movie sometime where they all come together like an Avenger style. And I can see them doing that, but they got to get the other movie franchises going for any of that.
Yeah.
I don't think you just drag everyone in through Mario. And obviously with Zelda, we know they're going live action, so there would have to be some sort of TV show or something they do with that as well. That's cartoon like for that. Pokemon's already got its thing. Pokemon's pretty easy to drag in if they want. The thing with the Mario movie is, I'm very curious what they're doing with it. And they talk about going a lot of places. Like I could see them bringing, worlds in from Mario Galaxy into this thing. I mean, I could see them like just actually going to just a whole bunch of different kingdoms, and that would actually maybe fit the Koopaline storyline because you could have one Koopaline that's in each of these areas. And I don't know why we're going to those areas, but. That's not for me to worry about. I'm sure the story is going to be silly and crazy and fun. And the Mario games aren't known for story, but maybe this one will have a bit more of one. Because I kind of feel like the first one, while a really good movie, the story was just kind of it was like a Mario game. It was pretty basic. Outside of the few of the jokes, it was just kind of a basic story. And I feel like that's just because it's just introducing. Because they're trying to introduce Mario not just to current players, but kids and people who maybe never played. So now I think this one might have a bit more of an intricate story. I don't know if it's going to go I don't think it's going to go, gosh, what is it, like Pixar style and try to have like some big life lesson in it. Because that's not really what Illumination really does for most of their movies. And I'm cool if it doesn't. It doesn't need to be a life lesson movie. Save that for Pixar and Disney. But it's going to be it's just going to be really, really interesting. Thinking about, because I haven't honestly thought about the Mario movie in forever, like the new one coming, because there's been nothing about it, and I kind of figured we might not see anything about it until maybe the end of next year. So it's kind of interesting that they're even letting Keegan-Michael Key even say this.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah,
That's the question: was he supposed to, or are we going to get a recast announcement?
Chris Pratt announced there was going to be a second movie before it actually was announced. I'm like. And then he said, "I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that, but I'm under contract for more."
I mean, I think all that stuff is PR. Like, I think they are told to do things like that.
Yeah, you can think about this. What did he really tell us? Okay, there's going to be there's going to be more expanded universe of lands and deep cut characters. Could have just been literally what they told him to say.
True.
So, what's deep cut for him might not matter because it might have just been a pre-scripted thing he was supposed to just throw out there. Like, if he says this and then, next week Chris Pratt says something, I'm just going to be like, all right, well, they're clearly about to, drop a trailer for this thing before the end of the year or some shit. They're going to just keep having little quotes pop up here and there. I'll throw this one in here because Shadow King, this is relevant. The $2 super chat. He says, "What about Captain N, the Game Master movie?"
Well, I think that could happen. Now, honestly, I was thinking about that earlier in the sense that it could at least be referenced because we had so many like deep cut references in the movie, like the Punch Out Pizzeria. You know, there's a Kid Icarus reference. Why not? I love Captain N.
I do too. Yeah. I have a jacket.
You have a wait, what? You have a Captain N jacket?
I do, yeah.
Is this custom?
No, I bought it from. I'd have to look up the company. Hold on.
So I could buy one?
Not anymore. You can't.
You're just,
Well,
you're just
I would love to get one.
I mean, looking it up, there are custom ones you can get on like Etsy, but it's Bull Airs. That's who I got it from. Bull Airs, and it is still available. I lied. It's $100. So,
that's not bad.
Could you send me a
it's
link,
good.
please?
Yeah,
I'll
I might want to get
I'd
one.
love to see it. For me, like that is one of the most memorable cartoon intros. And anyone who grew up in the 80s and 90s, cartoon intros were just like the best. TV show intros too were great. I mean, look at all the TGIF shows. Dude, those intros were classic. But Captain N was the best, man. Getting sucked into the TV.
Oh,
So good.
Dude, I'm totally getting this.
Yeah, it's pretty rad, but I will say it fits tight, so
Yeah, that's
go
fine.
a size higher.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, dude, that's badass.
Yeah, they don't even
Yeah.
increase the price for sizes. That's awesome.
I thought they stopped making them, so that's cool that they're still available.
Hey, is the back is that stitched or is that like just slapped on there? Do you know?
The back,
The Captain N logo.
it's like stitched in.
So it's nice, huh?
Yeah, it's like a good jacket. They make good stuff. Yeah. Oh, hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Only 3X and 4X are available, and 5X. Yeah, I apologize. I just saw that they were blinked out, so yeah,
Well,
it's unfortunate. But there are like
long as I
custom
don't
ones you
lose
can
weight.
find.
That's good for me. No, I got that little thing with hernia that forces me into 3Xs when I'm actually an XL.
Yeah, they are
I got that stupid
That is-
hernia thing.
really hard to see.
All right, cool.
What if Mario found the Power Glove, or they bring in like the accessories of some
that would
sort,
be a deep cut reference. The Power Glove,
or they bring in like the trackpad.
the trackpad.
Just because.
You know, the Power Glove was in Blue Beetle.
That's mouse.
Was it?
Yeah, and they're like all gearing up. One of the items is the Power Glove.
Yeah, dude, they should.
That'd be cool.
They should make a reference to Mario is typing.
Yeah, and Mario's Time Machine.
Yeah.
Oh, they go Mario's Time Machine. That would be
Mario
awesome.
with letters.
Yeah, watch. There's time
Yeah.
travel in it because of Mario's Time Machine. Oh, that'd be sick.
That'd be great.
Mario's fun with numbers.
You know, I don't know if this is in the realm of possibilities, but I think longtime Nintendo fans would absolutely eat this up if they had a cartoon version, even if it was for a second, of Reggie in the movie.
That would be awesome.
Hilarious.
Dude, that would be awesome, right?
That would
Cut
be
too.
cool.
He's no longer with Nintendo. It's been a bit.
Yeah.
That would be.
You could even just have him as like an extra in the background of like some random
Right.
place that they're in. That would
Exactly.
be the perfect thing. Like almost like a
Yeah.
Stan Lee
Yeah.
type thing,
Yeah.
even where he like just says
Yeah.
one line.
Cool.
That would be a great role for Reggie.
What
If you
I
think
saw
about it.
too is
Or even Miyamoto, since like Miyamoto could show up in Mario and then show up in the Zelda movie. Like,
no, that's Jenny, but you kind of hit a little bit like what I was thinking too, because you could bring like Aonuma, Reggie, and then all the guys, and what they're in a game cabinet being played by a character in the background. So it's like a because Mario's obviously a game, and then all the real people in real life are being played as a game in the movie.
That would be cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be great. That would be awesome. All right. Does anyone else have anything to add? I guess we can probably move on.
I don't think so.
We good? All right.
Good.
All right. Gosh, who was next? I think it was Stash, right?
Mhm.
Top of two.
Yes. Okay. We're talking about Switch 2 IPs. Now, the Switch introduced, of course, a few fresh IPs, and you guys can correct me if I missed one. I'm not counting Clubhouse games,
Dang it.
but Arms,
Oh,
Astral Chain, and Ring Fit Adventure.
You
So-
forgot the most popular one.
What were you talking about? 1-2 Switch?
1-2 Switch.
I didn't want to count that because I don't think that's going to carry over to Switch 2.
They
I
made
don't
a
know,
sequel.
Everybody won to Switch.
They made a sequel, so
they're gonna call it 1-2 Switch.
No, I know they made a
1-2-3
sequel, but-
Switch.
1-2
It'll
Switch.
be beautiful.
All right, we can keep
Yeah.
that in there. I don't care. It's besides
It's
the
sold
point.
more than all of those games. Well, except for Ring Fit, I guess. It sold more than Astral Train and Arms.
I know it did.
That's just stupid.
It is.
It was just a launch game. People were just, how'd everybody's 1-2 Switch do?
I don't know. I'll tell you what, my
Well,
daughter
it was on
loves
Woo
it.
Didn't sell a
immediately.
million.
Yeah, it
It's
hit.
super cheap, but my daughter loves it. That's all that matters to me.
It hit Woot like within a month.
If you
which
ever
is
want
not
to,
good.
if you ever want confirmation that Nintendo knew something was going to be a failure, you can look at their marketing plan for it because they did not market everybody 1-2 Switch at all. They literally invited influencers out and then like dropped it and didn't
Yeah.
release a gameplay trailer, and then it was like $30 immediately.
I saw that.
It
Yeah.
was-
Oh
it
yeah, Mario
launched at
plus
40,
Rabbids.
right?
What about that one?
It should have
Well-
just been an NSO game. Yeah, Mario plus Rabbids is Ubisoft, but right, but I mean,
Ubisoft,
it's the
What about
Mario.
Tetris 99? 90. What about 99? Do those count?
I didn't add any of the NSO games. So I'm just talking about, like full games. So Arms, Astral Chain, Ring Fit Adventure. So compared to previous generations, that's a relatively small number of new franchises. So obviously with Switch 2 on the horizon, I've been wondering what brand new IPs could Nintendo be cooking up next.
Yeah.
And so, obviously it's tough to just think about, well, what could they be doing? So then you kind of got to break it down by like genre, right? So Nintendo likes to, pick certain genres that aren't necessarily well represented on the console. And I think there are going to be now. I think we're going to have like obviously the more third parties. You think about the first person shooters, right? We're going to have Call of Duty now. So then I thought, I don't know if I don't see them doing a first person shooter. We're going to have Metroid and we're going to have Call of Duty. So what genre? Let's start there. Do you guys think would be good for a new Nintendo IP? Let's
I
hear
have
it.
one. So coming off of the surprise, this doesn't count as a new IP, but they obviously just did a revival of Famicom Detective Club. So that's like bringing in like a visual novel type thing. And everyone thought that was going to be like a Nintendo horror game. And it kind of was, but obviously it was the visual novel. So I feel like if they went full on with just a Nintendo made horror game, that could be pretty cool. And I'm not even a horror game person. And I think that would be,
I think that
When
would
you
be a
when you
good
think
idea.
especially because
of the horror games that they had Eternal Darkness back on GameCube.
Yeah.
And that was awesome.
Yeah, but Silicon Knights
Right.
did that whole game.
Yeah.
So
Nintendo,
and then
published it, didn't they?
Nintendo bought the IP years later. But yeah, they published it, but Silicon Knights and what was it, Dennis Dyack over there. I followed that game like super close, which is why I remember all this. But yeah, they just, to my knowledge, they literally just published it.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
And I wish they do something with it, but I think that's why they haven't, because
it probably
they didn't
is.
develop the game.
I feel like there's a lot of potential there to do something with horror. I feel like in their mind, we've got Luigi's Mansion that covers the horror department. Probably their way of thinking. But no, I would love to see that. I think it's a great idea. I can't see Nintendo going all in on a horror game. I just can't. I mean,
I can see it from the sense of like it would be something that has the Nintendo twist. So you're not going to get like a Resident Evil type thing, but I could see them doing something that's like legit, but also it's like, oh yeah, this is Nintendo, but not like in a bad way, just in a they do something different with
Yeah.
it type of feel.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but
it'd be cool. I'm all for it.
Famicom Detective Club getting like a rated M rating. That's cool to begin. It is a step in that direction. You know, first party Nintendo published game M rating. That's rare for them. So maybe we do see them venture into that a little bit more and Switch 2. I got a genre because I think while Nintendo, it's their juggernaut with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, that we didn't even get a new original Mario Kart released on the current Switch. It was a port from the Wii U. The racing genre for Nintendo, outside of like the kart racer, which I feel like is a subgenre of racing,
Yeah.
they have F-Zero, and that's the obvious answer. But will they actually bring back F-Zero, or will they try to do something original with like a more competitive racing type of game? I'm not even the biggest racing fan out there, but I do think there's a gap in their lineup of Mario Kart's the one option they have that's first party Nintendo racer.
Well,
Just to add on to that, it is interesting. We got F-Zero 99 and then just got the drop for the 2 new F-Zero games.
It's almost
That
like
could-
we should have a direct to announce GX and then we're set, you know, for a remaster.
I feel like we got to be seeing something like that. That's got to be a sign of something happening, right? Like an F-Zero near the launch of the launch window of Switch 2.
well,
I mean,
I
potentially.
think we'll get a GX remaster, right?
I think so too. And I think
Well,
they'll see how
apparently
it
that's
does.
the only one that's not on the Switch now.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, I see that happening, but when it comes to the racing genre, what I think is that Nintendo doesn't want to release another big retail racing game. And I think they released F-Zero 99 to appease us,
Yeah.
the old Nintendo fans that want it, not for the new ones, certainly not. And so they met us halfway, right? And they gave us the NSO F-Zero 99, and then they gave us the older ones. And I do think that getting a GX remastered financially could make a lot of sense because we will eat it up
Yeah.
and it won't cost a lot. You know, it's not like you're developing a whole new game from scratch, but ultimately I think Nintendo doesn't want to release other racing games to compete with
Yes,
Mario Kart.
that's exactly my thought. I don't.
Yeah.
They don't want to compete with themselves.
Exactly. Now, could I see this happen? And this is something I could see, is that Microsoft brings Forza over. I could
Mhm.
see that happening because I think Xbox games will come to other platforms in the same way that like even Sony released the show on Switch and on Xbox, right? Like, here's your baseball game. It's on all platforms. Here's your racing game. Like your actual racing game. Now, obviously, it's not like super simulation like Gran Turismo, but I could see that coming over to kind of fill that gap.
Mhm.
But then, you know, there's obviously other IPs though. Like you think, do we think we're tapped when it comes to RPGs? Because it's like, obviously we had a huge showing this gen
Mhm.
from Mario RPG. Like, holy crap, was not expecting all these Mario RPGs, right? Did we ever think we were going to have all three represented? Super Mario RPG, Mario and Luigi, and
Nope.
Paper Mario?
Not a shot, and not in the
yeah.
amount of time that they were released from each other too. Like
It's pretty wild.
Like within 2 calendar years, you're talking about all those games. It's insane.
One genre, speaking of RPG, that Nintendo isn't doing is, and again, I have no ties to the genre. I don't play them, but like an MMO game would be one that Nintendo hasn't done, and could be like some. Maybe there's a potential there. I don't know. Again, I don't play
Pokemon.
MMOs.
You should make Pokemon MMO.
That would be amazing. I play that, but you know, it's Nintendo. So
I get worried because I do think it would be incredible if they did it, but then I worry about the resources and development that they put towards an ever evolving, ongoing, more live service type of game. I mean, they're doing it now. The 99 games are that, right, in a certain way, but on a smaller scale. MMOs, Nintendo could just hire for it, have their team do it. But the worry, like what you see, the Sonys of the world doing, and even Microsoft, where they get these live service ideas and a big chunk of their best developers sometimes go towards that. And then sometimes the rug gets ripped from under it before it even releases, like we see, So
Yeah.
it would be cool to see a Nintendo developed MMO one day, though, in-house.
Yeah, on the concept of live service, I don't know if this is a type of game, but just like a free-to-play game from Nintendo, maybe a battle royale. I would say hero shooter, but maybe not now.
Not after Concord, not worth the risk.
But I can see them. When did Fortnite really come on the scene, or battle royales, like 8 years ago?
Mhm.
Yeah, Nintendo's about 10 years behind everybody, so I think
They
They might have something up their sleeves. And to be fair, if they did it, they'd probably just throw their character roster at it and it would be fire. They probably would just have crazy sales if they did it right.
they could just make the next Mario Kart free to play and probably
Oh,
just
they
make a
could.
ton of money.
Yeah. I do have one quick genre to mention. I mean, I guess, okay, it's action adventure RPG, but more puzzle based. What I'm actually talking about is like whatever you would brand a linear 3D Zelda game, from Ocarina of Time to Majora's Mask to Wind Waker to Twilight Princess, right? Because if we think about the direction that the Zelda team's going for 3D games, obviously they're still keeping around the 2D games, but even those are becoming Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild-esque, where a little bit more open-ended, don't have to do things in such a linear fashion. Hence goes away, finding your big item in each dungeon that's then going to open up another area of the game. So my idea, in my head, I want them just to pick like Star Fox and say Star Fox Adventures continues and do that. But I want if they don't bring back linear 3D Zelda developed alongside of these new, more open air Zelda games that they're going for now, I want them to have a IP that really, almost to a T, not copies, but gives that same kind of feeling of progression. And I can't wait to get that item in that particular dungeon, and then now I can go over here. That I almost want that same kind of 3D linear Zelda feeling in a different, maybe original IP, or pick your choice of ones that they haven't messed with in a long time. So
I really like that idea. I always thought that they should, Mario has the 3D and 2D, and Zelda has 3D, 2D, but have a third branch for Zelda.
yes.
Give another team the linear Zelda. Maybe get rid of the Kirby team or something. No, nobody will really miss.
They could split off some of their Kirby team. We get a lot of releases for Kirby.
Yeah, we do.
So
I love Kirby though.
So 3 different Zeldas, basically the top down, the big open world, and then the linear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
would love it.
That's my number one choice. But the more, and if they decide to split off a whole portion of their development team to focus on that, it happens. But knowing Nintendo and the way they talk about, just look at the developer interviews. They love those games from the past, but it was like they were just waiting to get to this moment where they could pull off all of these open-ended possibilities for the Zelda franchise. So it doesn't sound like they even in the slightest want to look back as far as putting restrictions on players anymore. But what if I like the restrictions, Nintendo? Give me the best of both worlds. And if it's not with Zelda, then pick a different franchise and do it.
Do you think that we get an Ocarina of Time remake before we get the next open world Zelda?
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. But
No, I feel the same way.
Taker wants to see Jake Paul's Punch Out sequel to Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Hey, I'd buy it.
Bring back Punch Out. I don't care if Jake Paul's in there.
Punch Out's another great one.
And I think you bring it back with Mike Tyson.
Oh
yeah,
the last
I really
one we got
do.
was on the
He's
Wii,
cleaned his
right?
name up.
And Jake
cleaned
Paul's the one you kick that crap out of, like the first, make him not even the last boss.
He's
the first.
Yeah, make him Glass
He's
Joe.
Glass Joe. He's Glass Joe.
Glass Joe or Gabby J.
Last Jake.
Did you guys play the one on the Wii?
Of course.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so good. What was that next?
It
Was that
was-
next level
yeah.
games?
Yeah, it was so good, man.
Yeah, that was great.
That's what they should have did instead of Arms. Not that I dislike Arms, because I do like it, but they should have did that, man. We should have got a new Punch Out.
I
Who
would have
did
loved
Arms? Who made the Arms? I don't remember what team made Arms.
I have to look it up.
It's like what have they been working on?
You know, this gets
It
me to thinking
was
though. While you're
Souls
looking
like
that up,
Please.
Bandai Namco Studios partnered with Nintendo. That's what it says on Google.
I don't know if I see Nintendo making a Souls-like game, but if we
I
think
do.
about it, wouldn't Eternal Darkness fit the Souls genre really well?
That would
It
be
could.
awesome.
It could.
I think
yeah.
Metroid could fit the Souls like genre really good. They'll never do it.
Well, what I'd like to see is Nintendo dive into the Metroidvania. I'd like to see him make a Metroidvania. Metroidvanias, like that is a actual like legit genre now. You go on Steam to the genres, you got Metroidvanias now. And there's a lot of good stuff there.
Too much, if you ask me.
Yeah,
There's
there's
too
a
much
lot,
to keep
but
up with.
it would be interesting to see Nintendo try it because like when Prince of Persia got announced earlier this year, I was pretty surprised, right? I'm like, huh, interesting. So Prince of Persia is going to try and, try the Metroidvania route. I'll be interested to see how it does. And of course, I played the game, reviewed it. I ended up really liking it. So did a lot of other people. And they brought some interesting ideas to the table that I hadn't seen in other Metroidvania games. I'm like, huh, interesting. Like, I wonder if anybody else, I had thought about this when I was reviewing it. I wonder if anybody else is going to try their hand at the Metroidvania genre. Because I think, especially after seeing Prince of Persia and playing it, that there is more opportunity for growth there. I think there's a lot more. Because if you think about it, I mean, the biggest Metroidvania probably in the last, it's almost 30 years. I think I saw it today on Twitter. It's 27 years old today, which is Symphony of the Night. Hard to believe that's 27 years old.
Yeah, I had posted about that. That's
good Lord.
crazy. Crazy, man.
So how about collaborations? We had the collab, of course, with Ubisoft, with the Rabbids. If you guys remember, if you recall, and it's so funny. I want to say it's funny, but it's interesting just because obviously Ubisoft hasn't been hitting their sales goals on a lot of fronts. But if you rewind a little bit, you remember when Mario plus Rabbids, the sequel came out. I forget the name. I have it on my shelf.
Sparks of Hope. Yeah.
Thank you. Remember, almost immediately, there's a statement about it that it was underperforming and it continued to underperform. So then you got to ask, okay, are they going to continue this into Switch 2? We're going to have a part 3?
No.
Or is maybe Nintendo going to work with somebody else and do something else with their IP?
Ubisoft hasn't been happy with the game in God knows how long, though. But yeah,
I think it's over.
they're shambles.
And I love Mario Rabbids. Big fan, but I think it's over. I think we're done. Not seeing any more.
Yeah,
like
I
that.
mean they might re-release it with all the DLC included, as like a digital version or something. That has we put DLSS in it's 4K or whatever. But I don't think we're going to see a new one. The main guy who does it's gone now, and with him gone, he was kind of like the soul of the project even existing. And I think him being gone was because the game just didn't hit the targets they wanted, which again, I don't know what game at Ubisoft has at the targets they wanted.
But I will add, if you haven't played them, they're great games. So I definitely recommend.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I do think we will get a 4K one, especially with some of those comments, right?
Of both. We might put both.
Yeah, because there was comments made shortly thereafter, right? About
the CEO was like more or less said that Nintendo recommended against releasing 2 on the same platform, and they felt like because they did that, that's part of why Sparks of Hope underperformed. And then he said, but we will continue to update it and we will continue to sell it on Nintendo's next gen platform, which was a big hint of like, he's more or less saying he's fully expecting backwards compatibility to be a thing, but he could also be talking about obviously repackaging it, re-releasing it, like continuing to update it and then re-release it on the next console. So however they do that, or maybe they know there's an upgrade path like what Sony's been doing, and that's a thing for Nintendo's next gen console. I think they're going to do another marketing push and a go around for it to try to get it to sell some extra on Nintendo's next hardware.
Yeah. I think so too. I think the shareholders would really appreciate that as well, especially with just like where that stock's at right now. But who knows? By next year, they could be bought up by somebody.
Yeah,
It's
they have
looking
an
real
internal.
dicey.
Isn't it a shareholder investigation taking place right now? Like there's some kind of investigation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ubisoft needs a crash and burn.
Yes, and there's a pressure campaign right now to sell to possibly Tencent. I read
Oh wow.
Yeah, I
an
can see
internal
that.
pressure campaign. So I was like, oh shit, man, because I saw the stock. It was like $2 last week, and I was looking at of course, the 12-month and the 5-year and then the lifetime. It's like, man, like they used to be up there in the mid 20s,
Yeah.
and we're at $2.
Ye-
And it's like that would be such a risky purchase right now. Like
Mhm.
thinking that they could maybe rebound, right? Because $2 is just so low. But at the same time, it's like I don't know, because they might get bought up.
Yeah.
So we talked about this.
I'm dropping a 20 tonight on their stock.
Steve, we talked
baby.
about this a
Let me get a
lot.
little return on this bad boy.
And they're
Hey,
just
what's
making all the wrong moves. I mean, how can this company continue to perform the way that they are and expect to survive? I mean, we talked about it a lot. Ubisoft is it's a crap show, man. Like it's an absolute
it's
crap
bad.
show. I can't support anything they do. I won't buy any of their games. Haven't bought one in a year. Refuse to. I just don't want to touch your properties.
I think the biggest problem they have is they conditioned us to wait for a sale.
You nailed it, John.
That's true.
I was waiting for you to say it.
They go on sale in the first month that it releases.
And I'm actually a Ubisoft partner, by the way, so
It's the opposite strategy of Nintendo. They just drop the price of games right away and run a sale instead of never dropping them. So
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. It definitely begs the question now, actually, with all the recent Ubisoft news. Like, it definitely makes me feel like, yeah, we're probably not going to see another partnership with Ubisoft, given the kind of shaky ground they're on. But
Thank
If-
God.
if there's one company I'd like to see them do a partnership with, whom I think their relationship has really grown, especially during the Switch era, that would be Square Enix.
Yeah.
And you
yeah,
know
for
what?
Sure.
Them too, man. Like, I love Square, but they're never happy with their sales. But I bet if they teamed up with Nintendo and did something like, I don't know, Super Mario RPG 2, I think they'd hit sales goals, you know?
I
they
think
have to be pretty happy with how RPG Remake did, right? Like it sold 3 million copies. They probably didn't put that much into it.
Yeah, I gotta imagine that they were pretty happy with that. I hadn't seen anything, any negative statements about it like I have with some of their other games that haven't hit sales goals. But I'm expecting with Switch 2 a really big showing from Square Enix. Like I am expecting the remakes, the Final Fantasy VII remakes, to make their way over. And even if you think about like the rumored Final Fantasy IX remake, I think we're going to see everything. But that kind of goes with what Square said, and that they need to release all their games on all the platforms in order to make as much money as possible and make sure that the shareholders are happy and that their stock's in a good place. But besides that, I could see a Nintendo collab there. You guys think that's possible? If there's anybody you could think of, do you think Square could be one?
I mean, Super Mario RPG 2, I could see it with the sales and with.
Oh, that's an obvious one. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that could happen, and I obviously probably every one of us would love to see that. I mean, that's the first thing that comes to mind for me. So
I think so, but what I worry about now with Square's mindset, because I feel like they committed to Sony so big for so long and then kind of got burned with this whole sales situation on the most recent Final Fantasy games, that like in their own investor briefing, they're using terms like we're going aggressively multi-platform going forward. And I wonder if there was, like, I almost wish it would have happened where they were as close partnership with Nintendo instead of Sony during that time. The graphical fidelity would not have been near as good for Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, but you get like, I mean, if there was a world where they were partnering on projects like that, I think they would see a lot more success with Nintendo as compared to what they were, because the audience, man, like, I mean, I know like there's still that hardcore PlayStation audience that picks up the Final Fantasy games day one, but I think a lot of those players of they play their RPGs like that on Nintendo Switch a lot of times. I feel like it's become a powerhouse in that space to a certain extent. So I would hope that Square would be open to the idea of doing a Nintendo collaboration, but I also wonder if they're just like, we're not going to even think about anything, because Nintendo's only going to let their characters be exclusive to their platform. So I wonder if they're not going to take anything like that just out of we don't want to spend a lot of development dollars and only release it on one platform.
The way I read the multi-platform thing was, we need to get our stuff on Nintendo platforms. They don't care about Xbox. They don't care about PC.
Unfortunately,
also a good point.
PC is a huge market.
Yeah, but like if you saw Final Fantasy 16 just came out on PC and it didn't sell that well.
Well, you got to know what their expectations were. What's selling well for them? Like, what do they expect on a PC?
They also might care about Game Pass checks and deals. You know what I mean? Like, if they want to throw some of their stuff on Game Pass,
if you're gonna go to Xbox, you got to take the Microsoft check. Like that's
right.
That's
I read it like I think they're done with being exclusive partners with Sony on a lot of their games, and I do agree Nintendo is very focused in on that conversation, but I think they're going to continue to bring it to everything. But yeah, I hope that they're down for an exclusive collab. I'd be all for that.
Yeah,
wasn't Chocobo GP exclusive to the Switch?
Yeah. Well, was it? No. Why do I feel like that might be on other platforms too? I could be wrong though.
On the phone.
I know. Well, it went like free to play after it didn't sell. At like $60.
Yeah, that's right.
They were trying to
I
sell.
don't know. This is the crossover I'd like to see though. Yeah, $2 super chat in from Alan Roby. Co-op Ghostbusters game. I'm thinking Luigi's Mansion Ghostbusters crossover. Let's go.
Ooh.
That'd be cool.
Well, so that's a Sony-owned IP.
And then
Ghostbusters.
we're Sony on the Zelda movie, baby.
Exactly.
Let's go. Hey,
Exactly.
Sony brought over Horizon. Even Sony.
I mean, there is a
Switch, Lego Horizon. Let's go.
What about this? What
there's
if
a
you bring
Ghostbusters
in?
game on Switch though.
What if
Yeah,
you bring
right,
in
yeah.
HAL?
There's one.
Bring in HAL Laboratories. They made the new Ghostbusters on NES that
Mm.
didn't come out in the US. In fact, it's a game I'm going to be reviewing soon this month. And I don't know if you guys have played that. It's called the new Ghostbusters 2. It's on NES, but
Yep.
it only came out in European markets.
Hmm.
Game is badass. It was by HAL. We all know HAL.
Oh yeah.
Of course,
How do you
Smash
know HAL?
Brothers, from Smash Brothers to Adventures of Lolo, which is another classic. That would be cool. I would like that. You know, someone mentioned in the chat how cool it would be to get a Zelda 2 remake from Software. Make it a Souls-like game. Like, oh, dude, that would be awesome.
That would
Yeah,
be
it
my
would
dream
be.
collaboration from Software. Like they would collaborate with Nintendo for something.
Yes. Specifically for Zelda, I think. I mean, imagine, dude, if they did that, like the same way like Hyrule Warriors is a thing and all of that. Just to do that and make a Souls-like Zelda game, there's a solid chunk of the audience that will 1000% eat that up.
I'll say
Make
that.
it Kirby, and maybe I'll actually like Kirby for
Well,
once.
if Nintendo's worried that, like, well, what if they make a Zelda spin-off game that people like better than Zelda? Fine, just tell them here's Zelda 2.
Right.
Mainline, it's mainline. Have fun. Make it as good as you want.
They can just call it Adventure of Link. They don't even got to put Zelda in the title. Just call it Adventure of Link from Soft collaboration, and then watch. We get Adventure of Link 1, 2, 3, and it turns into its own franchise before we get Link's Ring, which is the open world version of it. No.
That would be so
I do
cool.
think From Software is going to have a big presence on the Switch too. I think it's going to be. I think Elden Ring is going to be a launch title. And I think we're gonna see Dark Souls 2 and 3 eventually.
Yeah, there'd be fools not to, man. I mean, it's
whatever they
just
have next to whatever new games coming down the pipeline. Like unless it's Bloodborne 2, which I don't think that's happening. I think after the success of Elden Ring, they're gonna be like, no, we're doing our own stuff. We're not doing like these exclusive deals anymore.
What's interesting, yeah, that you might be right about that with the Bloodborne 2. I think they'll remaster Bloodborne at some point.
Absolutely.
But I think, yeah, since Sony owns that IP, probably not a Bloodborne 2 because and they've expanded so much. If you look at like the FromSoft interviews, like they have been hiring and expanding their teams to, and even Miyazaki's taking a step back from like being the main guy on every project and having the people that have come up underneath him now lead their own project. So we're going to see a lot of FromSoft stuff, and it would be great if they were super present on Nintendo Switch 2.
There's an amiibo. Like they have an amiibo. They like
that's
each
right.
other.
Solaire, yeah.
Yes! Just got to say it right now. The Brewers just tied the
That's
playoff
two.
game.
That's 2 for Churio this game.
Let's go,
That's
baby.
second this game.
Wow, I'm behind.
This has
Hell yeah.
nothing to do with Nintendo.
They just put up a stat that entering the 7th inning, the Brewers have never won a playoff game for 20 years, since 1982 World Series.
Wow.
And they haven't won yet, but we tied it up.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
All right, you see, they just gave me hope, and now we're going to lose.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we need a new NBA Jam. That's what we need.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. Of course,
I'm
I
all-
want that.
I've
I'm all
got
for the
every
arcade era sports games to come back.
Iteration of NBA Jam, even
need-
the crappy two.
How about this for Nintendo? I know there's a lot of these in the indie space, but we have Demond Brawler saying he wanted to play a new Nintendo IP roguelike game.
Yes.
Mm.
Side Order. I don't know if any of you guys played Side Order from Splatoon 3,
Yes.
but it's so good. And
Yeah.
I want more roguelike stuff from Nintendo because of it.
Do you think that we'll get a Splatoon spin-off game that's not like the mainline series ever? Since it's such a big
We
IP
should. It's so
now?
popular.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes sense to like put it in another genre and sell it. I feel like it makes sense.
Speaking of roguelike, I mean, I know this isn't Nintendo, but how cool would it be to have like a Hollow Knight roguelike?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the problem we're going to apologize. We just so sorry.
We just need Silk
Yeah, I was gonna
Song,
say.
to be fair. But
We
Yeah.
just need to get to the next one, please. Oh my gosh.
I will say that after playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate and reviewing that, I was like I really enjoyed Hades a lot. And that was my first
I loved
experience
Hades.
with that, right? And so I was like, okay, I'm willing to play some more. So then I played Dead Cells and played the Return to Castlevania DLC. Really enjoyed it. And then I didn't play one until Splintered Fate. And Splintered Fate, I'm like, dude, this game is so good. And they got DLC on the way as well, which I'm excited about. But when I was reviewing it, I got to thinking like, dude, this is so untapped. This is a totally untapped genre. And it's going to start getting flooded, just like the Metroidvanias did. And it got me thinking, though, like, I wonder if Nintendo or any of the big AAA developers are taking notice and are maybe considering one of their IPs.
I mean, they are
For
testing
this.
the water because God of War has Valhalla, which is a roguelike. Last of Us Part 2, the remaster, has a roguelite.
Yep, and it's cool, right? Like it was fun. I don't know if anyone
I'm all
played
for
it,
that.
but I did, and I had a lot of fun. So yeah, a lot of options. I guess we'll just have to see what Nintendo does, and then we also have to just consider this is something we won't know probably until the Switch 2 comes out. Is what kind of weird games are we gonna get? Like the Ring Fit Adventures of the world, you know?
Do you think we'll get a sequel to that? I feel like we have to, right? I mean, it did
yeah,
so
it
well.
sold
but
too
it
well. Yeah.
Well, so
could
my
have been a
thing is-
pandemic thing, but
Nintendo's had a lot of success since the Wii days of having workout games. So I
Yes.
don't know that like they don't have to do a Ring Fit Adventure style game because that specifically requires the ring. But I could see them doing like another workout game with an accessory that just blows up because they just make it fun and they can even expand on like because Ring Fit was obviously like kind of like a runner game RPG style. They could do something like that again, but what if it's something that's more like in an open world with like a different mechanism? That would be really I think fascinating. Or like I don't know.
correct me if I'm wrong, but the fitness boxing games do pretty well too, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a third one coming out. So
Yeah.
Along the lines of Ring Fit Adventure and it kind of crossing over RPG stuff, I would love them to do some kind of a workout game of some kind where they just plop you in a sandbox and it's like they just fill it with like cool landmarks and things that you want to go look at, but to like actually go check that stuff out, you have to like move or move, whatever.
Hmm.
Like, I feel like that would be super motivating to
That could be neat.
actually got in, but you're also like playing a game, something like that.
That'd be clever if they could make a workout game feel like an adventure game at the same time and throw some platforming elements in there. But yeah, like you said, if they're far away from where you want to go to, I guess the Switch 2 balance board adventure is coming out around launch.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
lunchtime.
what, though, I'm not into the workout game thing, but I enjoyed Ring Fit Adventure for what it was. I played it through, so
Dude, that is dude, it was a workout and a half.
it was a real workout.
It wasn't the running, it was the fighting the monsters, man. The squats and all the dude. It's just
Yeah,
it was killer, man. But
I
it made it fun.
lost weight playing that game for
Well,
real.
that's the point.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, like, I didn't expect to enjoy it, but legitimately, saw it through and lost weight. So
That's awesome. Cool. Yeah, we could probably move on to our next topic, which is not me.
it's not me either.
It's not you either, huh? All right, Game Junction. What are we talking about, man?
All right, so we're talking about Ryu Jinx. So got shut down, and they were putting a strike on a semi-popular YouTube channel for using Wii U emulated games. So the channel name, I'm trying to remember what Retro Game Cores was the channel name. I actually saw the tweet go out myself, and basically he was saying that, hey, he's not going to use any more Nintendo game footage. He's going to blur things out when showing different stuff that he's doing. So he's just not going to have Nintendo on there at all anymore.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, he is a channel that reviews
emulators.
So emulation devices, like the little emulation handhelds, he reviews those, and he used to use Nintendo games and his stuff, and Nintendo has dinged him twice. So he's one strike away from the channel just being permanently deleted. So
yeah,
he is absolutely done touching Nintendo stuff on his channel.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Not
so
the systems, the games. He's done touching the games.
right. Yeah, I mean, how unfortunate is that Nintendo is the way that they are about this stuff? I think it's kind of silly. But yeah, basically he was saying he's not going to touch anything Nintendo anymore because he's going to lose his channel if he gets another strike.
You know what I don't get? Some of those emulation devices that I was looking at some of his reviews. If you look them up, a lot of those emulation devices come with the ROMs pre-installed.
Yes, they do. Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
I've
like,
got a few.
Why are you going after these companies that are literally selling your video games?
Mhm.
Yep.
All these companies are selling your games, right? Go on Amazon, look up handheld video game emulation device, and you're going to get a billion results of all these people selling preloaded. Like, what?
So,
I don't like, why go after the don't punish the content creator because you're not going after the businesses.
Exactly. Yeah. In the early days of starting the channel, I didn't really pay attention to things as much and just kind of was like, okay to everything. I got sent out 3 devices myself that were already preloaded, had everything on it. So yeah, it just makes no sense why they're going after this specific person per se. But I was trying to find the actual tweet that he put out. Okay, so I mean it's pretty long. You can look it up on X, Twitter. But I'll just kind of start it out. He said, "Hi friends, it appears that my worst fears are true and that I'm being specifically targeted by Nintendo. My Wii U video was taken down. I received another copyright strike, even though the showcase video was no different than any other tech demos and reviews I have made on this channel previously." And it just kind of goes on and on explaining. But yeah, I mean, I guess the question comes down to, kind of what your guys' thoughts are on the whole thing, because Ryu Jinx is shut down, which is the Nintendo Switch emulator, and there's no more development happening to that. So yeah, I guess what's everybody's thoughts on the whole emulation scene with Nintendo involved and all that stuff?
I have a lot of thoughts on it. First, I feel bad for Retro Game Corp. I've been subscribed to their channel, I think, for a long time, a couple of years.
Yeah, they're pretty big, 500K channel. Like,
I was subscribed, I think, when they were very small. Like, I think when they were starting out.
I think they had like 2,000 subs when I found them.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate because obviously there's a human being behind the channel, and this is their livelihood. And so you never like to see that happen to anybody. So that part's all unfortunate. Now, when it comes to like Switch emulation, me personally, and I know that he specifically said that he got in trouble for like some Wii U emulation, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Switch, I wouldn't touch that. I would
Yeah.
not,
Well, no.
you know,
Mm-mm.
obviously that would be my advice to anybody. Don't ever use Switch emulation. I mean,
100%.
I don't emulate
Current
consoles
consoles.
that you can go to the store and buy, and you can buy
Yeah.
the games. Now, if the games are long gone and out of print and there's no way to play it, or the only way to play it is to get on eBay and buy a $300 cartridge, I might look for a different way to play it. I'll just leave it at that, right? But yeah, it's unfortunate that it was Wii U. And the first thing I thought of, right, guys, is that there must be some more Wii U remakes on the way. First thing I thought.
The one that got dinged had Wind Waker HD in it. I'm just saying.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, that's the first thing I thought, is that there's a reason why, especially with Wii U, because we know how much it's sold, right?
Yeah.
And
Nothing.
we know how it's viewed by the gaming community. We probably have an idea of how it's viewed internally within Nintendo. It just wasn't very successful. We know this. I'm sure we all own a Wii U, or we did at some point, but the fact that you got hit for Wii U, again, first thing I thought, okay, we're getting some more Wii U remakes, because why else would you do that? But outside of that, how much has he really shown? Is it because he showed everyone how to get it on Android? Is that the big deal, you guys think?
I couldn't tell you, because I mean, there's been other creators that have had strikes for similar things, so I don't know.
Yeah,
he's
it
not the
seems hard to
first
figure
by
out
any
that
means.
point, because Nintendo's very random with the strike stuff. But
Very
I do,
random.
yeah, but I do feel it all ties into the same conversation. I know it's a two-part thing. Yeah, maybe the Wii U, they are working on, they're going to bring over eventually Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and they're
God, I
eventually going to
hope
bring
so.
over Xenoblade Chronicles X. Like, let's hope that that's all in the pipeline. But separate, and it is weird that it happened on Wii U for a strike. But what I find the bigger part of this topic, like, is really interesting timing wise, is that this Ryu Jinx and Yuzu existed during the Nintendo Switch's life cycle, almost unhindered and unaltered, right? And just now, it's just heavily seems to be on Nintendo's radar of. It's not like these games weren't always leaking out for years and years. Like when I started my channel in 2020, shortly thereafter I started talking about Nintendo stuff, it was covering sometimes like, oh, hey, watch out for this new game is leaked online already. This has been happening for a while. Nintendo's just now deciding to pay so much attention to what are the popular platforms out there that people are using to play Switch games, you know, and going kind of straight to the sources. If the claim is true that lawyers showed up in Brazil at this individual's home to have a a direct conversation to form a deal, whatever that looked like.
Cash money, baby.
They're very aware of it. And listen, if they're releasing backwards compatibility and it's a big feature for their next console and they want to market it, I understand. I'm not a fan of what Nintendo's doing with it, because I do think I'm somebody whose emulation's fully legal. What's not legal about it is going and pirating a game that you're not going to buy. And then, obviously there's a right way to dump your game file and all that. Won't get into any of that, but you should have the option to play your game on PC hardware if you want to. So it sucks to see these kind of get pulled out from like the source creators and everything, but at the same time, it does make perfect sense for why Nintendo's doing it from a business standpoint. If their next console that they're about to start advertising, one of the big features that they're going to mention is, hey, all your Switch games, your entire library looks great, runs great, and even a little bit better on our next gen console, and they work day one. You don't want to have a bunch of people out there having another easy way to play. And it's not like these emulators are going to disappear. It doesn't fix Nintendo's problem, but I do wonder if they stop getting updates at least the big ones, and they probably will just get spin-offs and it'll be whack-a-mole, right? But
Yeah.
I wonder if there is a world where we do see less of like the Switch, like, you know, Echoes of Wisdom and all of the you start seeing screenshots pop up a week and a half before the game releases of, you know, somebody that has the game running on an emulator. Like, do we see less of that now? I don't know.
The other thing is we've got development of different carts being made for the Switch as well, like the Unlock Switch and the MIG Switch and things like that.
Mhm.
So outside of just the emulator, like there's things like that are popping up. And actually, Nintendo is doing nothing about those yet.
Well, they went after Big Switch.
MIG Switch, I think they did.
The MIG Switch, sorry. But the other ones, there's Unlock Switch and then there's Open MIG or something that's out now.
They're just gathering their legal means to go after them.
I'm sure, and I'm sure it'll happen, but like it's just a never-ending cycle, right? Like it's always going to happen.
Sure.
That's kind of the point. It's like you said, whack-a-mole. Like, are you really going to do away with this for good? Absolutely not.
But they do like to make examples out of people like Gary
They do.
Bowser, which is hilarious that that's his last name. But I mean, you know, that dude paying Nintendo for the rest of his life out of his paychecks, like that was definitely them targeting.
That was overboard.
Yeah,
That was
but like that
overboard,
was
though.
them sending a message that, hey, try to sell a product that's going to let people easily hack our hardware.
Yeah.
And you might pay us the rest of your life. You know, that it's like, you know, it's mobster stuff, but from Nintendo.
I think the reason they took out Ryojinx, same with Yuzu, like they've been going most of the Switch generation. Nintendo could have, you know, went and let's say it was a paid deal. They could have paid off the developer Ryojinx anytime and took it down. They could have went after Yuzu a long time ago when they started doing the Patreon updates, you know, and stuff like that and charging money. So they could have did it a long time ago, but they didn't do it. I think it's interesting they did it these two lately. Because I think it has everything to do with the next platform. It's got backwards compatibility, and what if there's upgrades to the Switch game? They don't want those upgrades to just be easily put on an emulator. They just don't want that to happen. So because you can be like, well, it's about the Switch 2 games. Maybe not. Switch 2 will have its own new stuff going on. You'll have to probably make all new emulators for that platform for that to even work. I don't think it's going to be like a Dolphin situation where you can do GameCube and Wii on it. I think it's good because it's such a leap from what we're hearing. It's going to require an all new emulator, and it's going to and the Switch 2s won't be hacked day one because these are custom chips. They're not going to have those same vulnerabilities. But there is that concern that's like, well, hey, if one of the major features and selling points of our system is put your Switch games in and they're better, well, that doesn't feel right if people could just take the games, put them on emulators, and just mod them to look as good and play as well as they do on our new setup. Again, it gets rid of one of our selling points. So while yes, the Switch emulators are going to continue to be around, you're never like Nintendo got the guy to take Ryojinx down. He didn't take it off your computer if you already have it. He's not going to stop people from being able to modify it and re-upload new versions. But I think the idea is that while that's going to happen, like it's been happening with Yuzu, although Nintendo has been doing a very good job on like GitHub and stuff, just getting rid of any spin-off of that pops up. Nintendo actually owns the code to that one. That's a really fascinating one there. So it's no longer, people need to start realizing with Yuzu, Nintendo owns that code now. So if you release a spin-off of that, you're lucky if all Nintendo does is a takedown because they have the legal rights to that code now. But yeah, no, it's Ryojinx is going to end up, you know, I was a little bit incorrect in my video. It is also open source. That's going to get spin-offs from people. But the thing is, the spin-offs are never as big as the original. And I think that's what Nintendo banks on. Yuzu and Ryojinx were massive. None of these spin-offs have the same collection of people using them. And, you know, some of the spin-offs don't get updated as much either. So there's a lot of stuff with that. And one thing to remember with Switch, and this is very specific. If you're going to do a spinoff, I'll just give some free advice right now. If you're going to do a spinoff of the Ryojinx one, you're going to use the code and create your own version. You better live in a country that does not have protections for game keys. The whole reason Nintendo was going to end up destroying Yuzu in court, it wasn't about them charging money. It was that their emulator is useless without Nintendo's keys. Absolutely useless. It is a useless program without something that is legally protected in the US. But it's not protected in some other countries, like Brazil, which is where Ryojinx was, which is why Nintendo couldn't just go after them legally and take it down. It's not protected there. Their software was also useless without the keys. Now, the keys have never been fought in court, so we don't really know 100% if it would hold up in court, but it does seem like something that would be protected because it's an encryption key. Nintendo, we see with other software companies, they do own their encryption keys. You can't just take those keys from them. So while the emulators themselves don't provide the keys, if what you're creating is useless without them, then your product can't exist. So the one thing Nintendo has going for them legally, at least moving forward in the US, is that if you're in the US, basically just don't make emulators for Nintendo platforms because Nintendo's coming after you. It's just going to happen. You have to be in a country that doesn't have those protections. You want to be in China and do it? Probably your best bet because Nintendo can't get through anything in China to get anything legally done to anyone. That's why, all those emulator devices exist with all the preloaded ROMs. They all come out of China. That's why Nintendo can't get it shut down. It's too much red tape. I mean, look how long it took them to even have Switch in China outside of Hong Kong. There's just too much to go through there. So free advice: if you are someone, be sure you're in one of those countries that doesn't have those protections, and then best bet you can have is Nintendo shows up at your door and says, "Hey, man, we'll pay you some money if you take this thing down," and then you get a payday. So, I'm just saying, anyone in the U.S. that say, "I live in the U.S. and I'm going to do this," or "I live in Canada," there's some protections there that Nintendo's probably just going to come after you for Switch or any new platform. If you wonder why they can't go after old emulators, oh man, but there's emulators on our phone now. Those didn't require encryption keys to use. Nothing Nintendo or any company can do for systems that never required encryption keys. So that's why those ones are 100% legal. So emulation is legal in the US. That's not a question. But emulation that requires a copyrighted key to work, that's the thing that's still in that gray area because it's never been fought in court.
What I don't understand is why everybody is always so surprised when Nintendo does this. Mm-hmm. We know they're going to do it. There's no...
Dude, I saw videos that are people Nintendo's the devil. I mean, what are we doing? This is the same thing Nintendo's been doing for 30 years. What are we?
Exactly.
Nothing new.
Was Sony the devil when they did it back in the 90s and then lost and then bought out the thing and shut down the PS2 emulator? Sony tried doing the same thing and they just gave up. So, guys, if you didn't know, there's PlayStation 5 emulators out there.
Yeah.
Don't know if you're aware. PlayStation 5 games are being pirated right now.
Well, I wanted to bring something up because I'm assuming we're not talking about it, but it came out that the Virtual Boy is being emulated on the Nintendo Switch for the museum. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yep, that's tomorrow's video for me. Funnily enough,
NSO edition coming, baby. Let's go.
I'm excited about it. I'm a Virtual Boy fan. I have 3 Virtual Boys. I've got one in the background here.
You can work with Labo VR.
Yeah, do you have to have Labo to play it? How does this work?
No, it's not for the public. It's just for the museum. So
not for the public yet.
Yeah,
I wish you would bring it out.
Well, listen, if they put the development time into getting it to work for the museum, what's going to stop Nintendo from at some point releasing that on NSO? It's just going to be one of those logical systems to throw into the collection.
I can tell you why, because they're ashamed of the system. They don't want to put any more stuff out there about it. It's the museum, so they got to represent it. They have to.
They don't have to have it playable.
Well, I don't know. I guess we'll see, right?
We're ashamed of it. It would just be in a cabinet, and you walk by, and it's oh, this is a cool look at it. They're actually being no, this was our first attempt at some VR. Let's revisit some history and try this out because a lot of people didn't get to try it out.
Well, I'm the first to want this to happen. So, who knows? But
it's not going to hurt. And look, if they add it to NSO, it's not going to hurt. And oh no, NSO's worse off because they added Virtual Console.
They're going to charge you less now because Virtual Boy's on there.
But people are going to complain because GameCube's not on there, and
people always complain. It's the internet. That's the world we live in now.
It's the perfect system to throw into the base tier when they throw something better into the expansion pack tier. Because they're going to give us GameCube and Wii one day on the
here you go, plebs.
Good point.
And then, base tier, it's here's Virtual Boy.
I will say this: if you haven't done it, emulating Virtual Boy on the 3DS is a pretty awesome experience. That's a great way to experience the Virtual Boy without
sense.
Having the actual
I haven't done that, but that makes sense.
I will second that
because it's worth doing.
I did it. And it's on my 3DS. It is very easy. And again, this is something that's not accessible.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm
Virtual
okay
Boy.
with it.
It's not easily accessible. You can't buy the games in the stores, yada yada. So yeah, I totally have it, and I was excited because, I didn't have a Virtual Boy growing up. That was a very niche Nintendo item. It was just not something that a lot of people own. So to be able to play it on the
Yeah.
3DS was with 3D, with the actual 3D slider on. It's pretty awesome.
It looks good too.
It actually does. It does. They did a really good job getting that on there the way they did. And yeah, it works really well. So it would be interesting. I could see it coming to NSO, like you said, on the base tier, Sombro. I think that's a really good idea.
I hope that they do, but I don't think they will. That's kind of where I stand with it. I would love to see it as a Virtual Boy fan, but I don't think they will.
I mean, yeah, I would say I don't think they will. I don't think it's likely, but I would love to see it.
Yeah, same.
I think if they did do it, it might be the only system that they just drop almost all the games that they were going to release on it all at once, because then they're just going to throw it on there and be done with it. It's just an extra icon.
How many games are there? There's only like 13, right?
Yeah,
13
that's what
US
I'm saying.
games, yeah.
But like, as opposed to them doing 5 at launch and then drip feed 1 every few months or whatever, they're just going to throw everything that they got on there and then just be done with it and move on. I don't know.
Well, see, I see this brought up a lot too. Like every time Nintendo does this, like, Nintendo, if they hate emulation so much, then why are they using emulators themselves? Like, they don't hate emulation when they can make money off it.
Yeah,
when they're the ones doing it. It's their games.
They're allowed to do it for themselves. It's their property. It's their games. They want to make money. They're against. Here's the thing. I don't even know that Nintendo's against emulation as a concept. Like the legally protected right to back up your games and then go play it on an emulator. Fine. It's that. Let's just be honest, guys. What are they doing? They're going after Switch shit. What?
Yeah.
Can we stop beating around the bush? Piracy is rampant on Switch. It just is. Has it affected the overall sales? Probably not to a demonstrable degree. Obviously, they sold the most software in company history, but it's still one of those things that's like, yeah, but it's not just that. Think about all the game leaks that hit the internet, 2 weeks before a game comes out, because there's thousands of people streaming this thing in all these different platforms, and it spoils it for the fans that aren't interested in that stuff. People got to run around like what's one reason that we have to report like when Echoes of Wisdom leaks, and so people can put their filters in so they don't see the content pop up in their feeds, and that sucks. Because I want to see the new commercials, but then it's like, I don't want to be spoiled. It's gonna get popped up. So it's, I think that's really where Nintendo could be arguably trying to protect their consumers that don't participate in this stuff.
Sure.
But again, I do think in general it's sort of a losing battle. You're never gonna win. There's always gonna be new emulators. Your system's always gonna get hacked. If you wonder why like Sony seems to not care as much, well, you need such a beefy computer to truly emulate PS5 games. It's a very small niche doing it, but Nintendo doesn't make super powerful stuff, so it's easier to emulate. I just feel that in general, Nintendo just wants to make examples and just hopes they can keep it at bay for as long as they possibly can. And if Nintendo wants to prevent game leaks, the unfortunate truth is an all-digital future takes care of that.
Yeah. And I'll be upfront and say that like I back up my games even for the Switch, because the amount of hours I put into some of the games, I want to be able to save those. So I save them on my computer. I don't emulate any. What is it?
Nintendo servers, cloud backup.
No, I meant long term. I want to be able to save my games. Like for
you're
instance,
saying they're not going to keep those servers forever, man?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. But no, I like to save my stuff, and I've done this for years. I've saved, everything from Game Boy up to Switch, which I think is important. For me, I want to be able to go back and have my game saved. I've got like 400 hours in Tears of the Kingdom. I don't even know how many hours in all the Pokemon
games. Can you
games
imagine how many hours Hoops has in Pokemon games over there right now?
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, I don't want to lose that. Who knows what happens, right? Like,
Well,
10
I
years
do.
from now.
I know what happens.
Those games.
We all do. All of us old guys know. If you had a Mad Catz memory card, you know exactly what happened.
The worst Christmas present ever.
God.
Yep.
Worst Christmas present ever.
That's a
I
trap.
still have some
my
Mad Catz memory cards.
Or Pelican. Pelican was the other
Yeah.
brand, right?
Yeah.
Dude,
Can't
he
trust
might
them.
any cheap memory card I got when I was a kid. No.
I hated them. Hated them.
If it
Yeah,
didn't
do
say
you remember-
Nintendo on there, is a big red flag. That's
Yep.
for sure.
Do you guys remember the ones that would have like the grips on the end of it? The memory cards?
yeah.
'Cause those were the worst ones, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Dude, the corrupted save files were so bad.
Yes.
There was a
no
while I
doubt.
started playing on
Devas-
PCs and I didn't
devastating.
worry about it. Oh man! Oh no! We're going up.
Wee.
All right. We could probably get to our last topic unless someone else has anything they want to add on this. I mean, I'll add one bit. Nintendo, leave the YouTubers alone, man.
Agreed.
He's buying a commercial product. Go after the people selling it. Leave the YouTubers
seriously.
alone, man. I just, he's not showing where to get files. He's not, that kind of stuff. He's just showing, like he showed like how to make it work fine, but like that's legal. So he's just not going to fight it because if it goes to court, he gets a lot of money. So I just think you got to leave the content creators alone, unless the content creators are blatantly doing like, here's a ROM site. Here's how you download it. Go to this ROM site and then do this and that. Or like, hey, you know what? You should go here because this person hacks their Switch and dumps games. Like, okay, yeah, like take care of that. But that's not what this guy's doing, man. He's just doing reviews of these handhelds that are commercially available. Like, I don't know. I understand. I'm like maybe like, the Wind Waker was in this one, and that might be coming next year. So we better, just leave it alone, man. No one can even the amount the Wind Waker HD costs to like buy right now is ridiculous, and you got to buy a Wii U to play it.
I see all the time on TikTok.
Let's calm the hell down, man. You want to take down that stuff after it's for sale? I guess I understand a little bit, but also Nintendo, if you want to take it down, does it have to be a strike?
Right.
But that's what bothers me. Does it have to? You can do, and I know this because when I did a video, remember back when the Tears of the Kingdom art book leaked, I did a video that had like half the images in the video, and Nintendo didn't copyright strike me. They just did a takedown. And then Golan Harris emailed me and said, hey, man, we know you're not the source of this stuff. Just can you please not re-upload and show those images? They're copyright protected. I said, yeah, cool. Okay, why can't you do that with these other content creators then? Why do you got to strike them?
I agree.
That doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm cool. By the way, thank you, Nintendo, for being cool. Now we're probably not cool anymore. But I'm just saying, like, you didn't, man. Yeah, like, be a bit more savvy about the optics of what you're doing. Like, if it was just a takedown, it probably wouldn't have been that controversial. But they doing a strike, you're affecting his ability to live stream. You're affecting his ability to make money once he had the second one. And a third one, you literally just nuke his career. It's done. So, like, it's just think a little bit before you act, or reach out and maybe just request that he takes content down, But I know it's just from the sounds of Kit and Krista, when they talked about their time at Nintendo, it sounded like they were very out of touch with a lot of this online creator space. Didn't really know what they were doing. I don't know if they've figured it out yet.
I think there's people that have.
Well, select people.
Yeah,
sure.
because it depends on what person you get at Nintendo that's reviewing your case. So, like in your case, there's probably somebody that knew what was going on.
Well, the fact that my video got taken down and then
right.
they proactively emailed me, I'm like, hey, this is someone who actually pays attention. I got lucky.
Right.
I got lucky with who spotted my video. Or they just knew me because they used to send me review copies or something. I don't know. So our last topic. I mean, look, guys. Did you guys really think we were going to go a whole podcast without talking Switch 2? Do you not see what my channel is? I can't even go. We went a day without a Switch 2 video just to talk about it on the podcast.
Oh my God, we went one day.
One whole day. To be fair, I had nothing to talk about with Switch 2 today. When you're so on top of everything, that sometimes there's nothing to talk about with that. And I stupidly talked about the emulator stuff yesterday, so I did 2 videos, and I should have saved that for today. But stuff happens. Let's go ahead and get to this last topic though. So there has been a few rumors. I think one thing, the most fascinating part of all of this, because the Nintendo Museum opened this week, but there was select people that Nintendo brought out, like Rogers Base, who got to go early and do like a tour video. It's not getting talked about a lot yet, but there are parts inside the museum that are ready for Switch 2 to be put there.
Yep.
Which is really, really fascinating.
He was allowed to show that?
I don't know if he was allowed to show it, but there's one like a couple frames in his video when he's at the controller section that shows here's the controllers over the years, and then here's what's next, and it's blank. So it's like, oh, they're gonna put it there, after it's revealed or released or whatever. It's just what a shocker. Nintendo prepared their brand new museum for what the next device is going to be. It's going to be in there eventually. I mean, it's not really a surprising thing. It's just like, oh, what if someone, back in my mind, I'm like, man, what if someone slipped up and there's a date at one of these displays somewhere? But we haven't heard anything yet.
It's probably all part of their plan. Nintendo might be marketing geniuses.
Maybe.
They leave those spots blank so everybody speculates. Like the Switch 2 trends like every other day.
Oh yeah.
And they don't even have to do anything.
Poor Nintendo of America can't make a tweet without all the replies being, where's the Switch 2 announcement? What are you guys doing?
I mean,
Yeah, so they don't need to reveal it.
It was even to the point where DM Direct, they had to follow that announcement, not talking about Switch 2. So,
They can't have a single presentation or event without following it now, without saying there will be no mention of the Switch successor.
Did you guys see the joke tweet that went out after the PlayStation showcase?
Yeah, that was
announced?
great. Yeah, and like Nintendo's in the reply. No mention of the Switch successor.
What happened? No,
that was so good.
The fake tweet. Yeah.
That was gold.
That was gold.
I wish Nintendo would have done that.
Oh man.
Yeah, if they had the Wendy's PR manager for whoever runs that account running the Nintendo of America account, they would have actually responded to that and done it exactly like that.
Yeah. What was that other account? What is it? Was it Walmart Canada or something?
There's Walmart Canada.
Oh yeah, Riley Little runs that account. He does all the memes.
So funny.
All the memes.
Good stuff.
So by the way, for those watching the video version, my camera went out. I just gotta give it a moment. It's overheating. So I'm gonna let it cool down for 5 minutes. Let's there's actually a lot with this topic. Like the museum stuff's cool, kind of obvious. It's a couple other rumors that were floating out there. Like one came from Vandal with this Ruben Mercado, who's a CEO of Blade, which is actually an accessory company I've heard of before. And they just do a lot of gaming accessories for different consoles. And they went on a podcast, and there was a lot of stuff said, and some stuff got a little misconstrued because Vandal themselves didn't summarize their own podcast very well. But the biggest real thing to take away, because he was saying that he has contacts at manufacturing partners that help them make their stuff. And they told him that they can't make the thumb grips for this system for a reason that will be obvious once it's revealed. And that made me go, what the hell are they doing to the thumbsticks that you can't put a thumb grip on? Because like Steam Deck has the capacitive touch stuff on their sticks, but there's even thumb grips for that still work. So what the hell are they doing to the sticks? You guys got any ideas like what they're doing to these sticks that you can't have thumb grips?
I have an idea.
They just have thumbtacks sticking out of them.
Maybe
No sticks at all.
Maybe they're putting like a fingerprint sensor on the.
Yeah, it's like a touchpad.
That would be.
They're collecting biometric data while you're gaming.
Yeah.
My guess is that the thumbsticks can be pushed down into the system so they lay flat and you can close the system. Like, for instance, imagine if you had like say a 3DS or DS and
here we go.
And you have a thumbstick, right? Like it is on the Switch right now,
Sure.
and you try and close it, you can't. So the thumbsticks would actually push in so you can close it. That was the first thing I thought of when I read that. I'm like, why wouldn't you be able to do that? There's got to be a reason why.
There's something we don't know.
A scary thought would be as if they made the thumbstick so flat to the surface.
Oh my god, are they circle pads? No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that there's just no
3DS
way
circle pads
to latch
No,
on.
that would be so bad.
And I
What
would,
if they did that?
I
People
know
would
it's a scary
immediately
thought.
replace those with third-party stuff right away. Just that's bad.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, I didn't hate the circle pad on the 3DS. So
I did.
I didn't hate it.
Compared to an analog stick, traditional.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but it fit the system. Like, it's not like they were going to be able to put an actual stick on it. But
I kept wondering if they were going to be like touch pads, like the ones on Steam Deck. They basically, when you cover them, it just kind of enables motion control. They don't really do anything like super cool with them. It's just, hey, it's covered. You have motion control if you want it. So what if instead these are more like, on like PlayStation, they have a touchpad. What if these are kind of touchpads? You get a little bit of mouse freedom with it, where if you move your thumb on it, so like you can't put the cover on because you'll lose some of the precision with being able to like move things around quicker. And I kept wondering, like, what would that be useful for? Well, there are some games on Switch that are just better with a mouse, and so there would be games that might want to take advantage of that sort. I'll give you an example: Civilization. I would love it if my right thumb, I could do a little. And you might go, well, mouses, you move your whole hand. I'm like, have you never used a Lenovo business laptop? They got the nub, baby. Yeah. And that nub is there for a reason. People do use it. I don't know who, not me, but people do use it. It is a thing. So I thought like maybe that is something like if they cover it up, it just affects the accuracy too much. But I don't know. That's just a thought I have. Like the only thing I can really think of that would actually be like a really neat feature that you don't have to use, but some devs might want.
I
don't
to happen, but I mean it would be something to do the whole thing like Thunderstash and use the whole like foldable electronic making a comeback for like phones and stuff, and make the Switch foldable, like just as like sort of a get more portable. I want that because I don't think that's the way to go. At the same time,
am I the only person that doesn't want dual screen?
That what?
Am I the only one who doesn't want dual screens?
No, I would love it.
I want it as an accessory add-on strictly. I don't want games built around it. I don't want anything marketing. Like, if you want to play 3DS and DS games on Nintendo Switch Online, here's how you do it. And if you buy this accessory and you want to play in handheld mode, now you can see like your inventory or something else on the second screen if you wanted to. But I don't want Nintendo to base gimmicks anymore around dual screen gameplay.
I agree.
No, I agree with that. Yeah. I like that idea.
That's where I'm at, Bro, as well, and Brandon as well. Like what I had thought about is, hey, I really don't want them to develop games with two screens in mind, because that's just gonna make it harder for developers to bring over all of their third-party games. It's gonna create more work for them if they're gonna have to tack on stuff for the second screen. We don't want that. We've already been down that road. But if it isn't an accessory that I can buy, and that, hey, if I'm playing, for example, Tears of the Kingdom, I can't tell you how many times in Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and even to an extent, Echoes of Wisdom, right, that I bring up my map. I use the map a lot, and I really enjoy using the map. But I don't enjoy pressing pause every time and moving around and figuring out everything. Where I'm going and where I need to set markers and what I'm doing next. If it was static on the second screen, or if there's a second screen that I could literally like tap it to place a marker while I'm playing Zelda, that would be, to me, that'd be badass. Like, right? Like,
agreed.
I think that'd be really cool. And even when I play Zelda, like I have a map open on my laptop, so I can see a big map, and so I don't have to pause it 500 times. So I can just continue to like stay immersed in the game. I have a map right there. And so yeah, map inventory, like you said. And I know we're going to talk about it in a moment. Another rumor. Actually, I won't get into it. I'll let you set that up, Nate. But it's just another thing that I thought of while playing Echoes of Wisdom. But again, I would like a second screen.
I know
in
what you're
that
hinting
sense.
at. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm hinting at.
Well, but I do, but I also, and not to go into that yet, but I also think that, yeah, like if you look at Zelda games and even just a lot of games now with how many things will sometimes pop up as options, you could entertain the idea that a second screen would come in very handy for that, not just the map, but all these different, echoes or whatever you can select, even in Tears of the Kingdom, how many different things you go through in a menu system. It would make some sense as an enhancement to have a second screen, in front of you to handle all that stuff.
Yeah.
So as long as it's not a requirement, like I said, because then you limit third-party support, you limit, developers needing to do something with that second screen. And you got to think, if we want the screen to have any kind of reasonable amount of quality and still pay $400 for this system, I mean, Nintendo's going to have to do it as a separate accessory and sell it for $100 to $150 for the screen accessory. Because two screens, 8 inches with quality 1080p displays nowadays, it would bump the cost significantly for the system, I feel like. And the battery life is another thing. You're going to have either two batteries, one in the top or bottom. You're going to have to re-engineer the whole Switch concept at that point. So,
yeah, the battery aspect's a big one. It's a good point.
Yeah. Well, since we almost got into it, there's another rumor floating out there, which this rumor is a really weird one because it comes from basically a random person. That's a trust me bro thing over on Reddit. However, the reason that it's actually interesting isn't really because of who said it. It's because it's not actually the first time we've heard it. There's actually another crazy airport rumor a while back related to this, plus a patent, plus Sakurai himself saying that he's told Nintendo to do this. Of course, we're talking about some sort of scroll wheel style thing on your L and R button. He claimed that this person in particular on Reddit claimed that they held basically they won't reveal what their job is, of course, because if they are legit, they don't want to give too much information away. But they apparently held a shell, like a shell that had like the buttons and everything, but like no actual like internals in the screen area. Like he mentioned, like there wasn't even vents on top or like a cartridge slot or anything, which will probably be one of those things that maybe an accessory maker or something would have, where like you don't have to turn the switch on, you just need an idea of how to shape your products and stuff. And he said in holding this shell, the most interesting part to him was the L and R button basically had a mouse wheel like design that you could push in, but he said for some reason it was flat like a normal L and R button. So he says if you think of it more like a conveyor belt style thing. And again, I don't know how much credence we want to put into the conveyor belt style aspect of it, although maybe it could be a nice little engineering feat they pull. Because my whole thing when I hear conveyor belt, I'm like, okay, so it must come off a little bit, but you can get gunk behind it, which is gonna spin around and get in it. But then I kept looking because that could happen with mouse wheels too. Well, as I look around and like all my mouse wheels, none of them really have a bunch of gunk on them. I thought, I'm like, oh, maybe mine do, and they really don't. Now, I'm not saying if you eat Cheetos and then grab a controller, you're not going to get dirty. You're getting it dirty either way at that point. I mean, come on, you're having fucking Cheetos and not washing your hands. At least lick them off or something. Come on. Don't waste that good stuff. Don't waste that Cheeto dust. People pay good money for Cheeto dust.
Sure
they sell it. Now they sell it in a can.
Did they really?
Yeah.
You're lying.
Yeah,
No.
they sell it.
Oh, I'm looking this up.
Not. Look, it's sell it in a can. Because people like dusting, like they use it in like baking and stuff. They like dust their mac and cheese with it.
But still seems a little odd.
That still seems a little odd. So the point is, though, is that it's obviously just a really like the reason I talked about it wasn't really because that guy said it. It was just because it was being brought up again, and it just reminded me that we haven't talked about this in a long time. This concept of a really neat way to evolve a controller that doesn't change the controller. You still have your clicky LR. It's not replacing the trigger buttons or the triggers, but it's adding this functionality, which again, think of Tears of the Kingdom, think of Echoes of Wisdom, even think of Smash Bros. How convenient would it be to have a really nice feeling, roll there that just kind of goes with like a mouse wheel. Because look, why are mouse wheels still around to this day? They're so great at navigation. They're so great at quick navigation. So what do you guys think about this? Like last time we talked about this a long time ago, and I'll just bring up that if you want a rumor aspect to this, there was that whole airport story about a prototype kit that a Nintendo employee got stopped by a security, and so they checked it, and he noted that there was these mouse-like things on the controllers for this device, and he went as far as to even post his badge to prove that he is who he says he is, and people found out what airport he worked at and everything, and it turned out that airport was near Redmond, Washington, which is fascinating since that's Nintendo HQ. So it's kind of like, oh, does that make the story real? Obviously, it's one of those, we don't know. If they reveal the product and there's scroll wheel something on the L&R button, I'm going to start to believe that was a real story. But setting that aside, obviously Nintendo has a patent for this, which that means it won't be exactly like the patent, but it doesn't mean they couldn't have done something, spun an idea off of that. And we have Sakurai, who has said many times over the years, he did a whole video on it. Many times over the year, he has told Nintendo to put this on their controllers. So, what do we think of this idea?
I will say that, and I think for anyone who's played Echoes of Wisdom, and we can even include Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, but the stock Echoes, right? Literally, specifically the Echoes, just scrolling through the Echoes and Echoes of Wisdom.
Oh, so aggravating.
Right? And I'm like, dude, I swear to you guys, as I'm collecting them and I'm continuing to play the game and I'm getting more and more, and all I'm thinking is, was this game originally planned for Switch 2? Because the scroll wheel would have been perfect for this. Perfect selling point.
It's the biggest downfall of the game. I mean, other than some of the performance, but
yeah, but it got me to thinking, like, dude, this is perfect for this game. Like, this is a really good selling point. If this thing exists,
but
it was for this.
Would have also been perfect for Tears of the Kingdom, though.
Yeah.
For real.
Both of them could have used it.
Those ones are the obvious ones, but like even like Animal Crossing, it would work really well with.
Yes, it would.
Splatoon, because you have a ton of menus.
It would be
anything with a bunch of menus.
And you can have like where like the left one will go left and right, and the right one goes left and right, and then the left one goes up and down. So you can, I mean, if you get really good at that, you can get super quick navigation. That would be awesome. That would be great. Oh man!
So I thought it was interesting that the rumor had mentioned that the scroll buttons lay flat.
Yeah,
like a conveyor belt.
The conveyor belt style, yeah.
So those lay flat and the joysticks lay flat. Is there any correlation that we can tie in here? Why would they both lay flat? Why would they need to? That's what I'm wondering.
Maybe for the dock. Maybe it has something to do with
it. Could.
Yeah. We just had a comment about that too. So
currently, hang on. If you're thinking if there's a top USB-C port and it is meant to have things attached to the console, you might need flat buttons to not interfere with something that's going to, like a second screen that's going to sit directly on top.
Yeah, right.
I mean, maybe, but then the only problem with that is, I guess if there was something else on the top on the sides, because technically it wouldn't interfere with the Joy-Con if the screen size matches the bottom screen of the Switch 2. That, I mean, I don't know, unless if it was wider at the top to match the Joy-Con width. That's the only reason I could think of. I don't know how the analogs and the scroll wheels would correlate to each other, both being flat. I think here's my quick theory on that, Thunderstash. I think that the reason that they would be flat is because they're worried about, while yes, you're adding the functionality of the scroll wheel, they're going to be worried about losing the easy clickability and not feeling like you're going to accidentally scroll when you're clicking in because we're talking R1, R2 buttons. Or, I mean R1 L1, R1 buttons, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you still want to use them, just you press down and not have to worry about accidentally scrolling. So I'm thinking flat because you have to like actually tell your, like yourself to, okay, I'm going to scroll this right now. And it's not going to be like an accidental thing. I think they even said in that post that they described it as like it's more stiff to move it than
a little more
wheel.
effort than a scroll wheel, but it didn't feel bad. It was still like obvious you're doing it.
Right. So yeah, I mean that's what I would make of it. I think that they're trying not to hurt the functionality of it still being your right bumper, left bumper button. So yeah, I don't know.
It feels more user friendly than Apple's new camera button.
That's an interesting one.
That was wild, man. Like, okay, so it's a touch thing, but then also if you half press, I don't know what a half press is. I tried and it's a full press. I don't know what is happening here.
Yeah, and Apple won't even call it a button. They'll
and also one thing with it being flat, it also gives you a wider area to push down when you want to make an obvious button press. So there's that as well. There is something to be said that if it was a round like mouse, like as much as I'm used to my finger being on the mouse, I do press the mouse wheel in sometimes, but not often. Well, this would be one where it would be pressed in pretty often because it's a standard button. So maybe they worry a little bit how it could like maybe dig into the fingers a little too much, maybe peel some skin if it was a mouse button. But if they somehow found like an engineering way to make, granted, he was using the conveyor belt as like an example. If you want to think about how this could work, he didn't take it apart and see how Nintendo actually built it. But it would be interesting to me if they found some really fancy but pretty cheap. It'd have to be pretty cheap if Nintendo's going to put it in there. Way to add that functionality in. That would actually be really cool. I honestly, the reason that I even made my video on it and have it on the podcast here is because I just like this idea. This to me seems like something that why hasn't anyone done this yet? It's just obvious. Like this is great.
And Sakurai's been pulling for it this whole time.
That's probably Nintendo's ear. Why haven't you done it? It's obvious.
When Sakurai just keeps saying, like, he literally, if you watch his video, he didn't act like he suggested it once. No, he just keeps telling, every time he talks about Smash Bros. With them, he keeps saying, hey, can we get a scroll wheel LNR button on the next controller, please?
Even Smash Brothers, like scrolling through all those characters, it would make it so much easier.
Yep.
The thing that
and like even when people talk about like the circle, think about like people that like circle navigation. Well, imagine not having to use your right stick and you get perfect navigation by just moving it. Just perfect navigation item by item in a circle. Like it would work in so many different navigation menus. And I know people are like, well, why would they add something that's primarily used for that? Because think about how many damn games you're navigating in a menu.
Yeah, you're navigating inventory.
It's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a widely used function.
When you look at the L1 R1 on the Joy-Con, it is really flat already. Like there's not much of a
I think the idea would be the idea of the flatness also would be the fact that if you have a circle, as Sakurai showed in his video example, like to have one that's big enough that would be comfortable to use, it'd have to be pretty big. So it'd take up a lot of space internally. Or if they found a way to make a flatter function, it would also take up a lot less space for something like a Joy-Con. So, I mean, that can make a lot of sense as well if Nintendo found an engineering way. Because, again, my concern is if it is like a conveyor belt, it could break. It could get jammed up. But I'm sure that if they went with this style, that's just not exactly what it is. They found. Again, I'm not an engineer, so I'm trying to even imagine how you would make that work. And conveyor belt is the only thing I could think of. So I'm like, I get why someone would say that, because how else can you explain how that could work? I don't know. But I'm all for it. I'm all for it. As long as it's there and I can feel each little click of it when I'm going, so I know exactly how many clicks over I'm going, I'm all for it. Because like, obviously, guys, you could just replace it with a standard button that pushes in, with just a capacitive touch thing that you could swipe, but you're not feeling the click then. So that doesn't really make navigation any better than just pushing your right stick over. I want the click. That tactile click gives you that precision.
Yeah. To me, this feels like it would be a very good addition that doesn't feel like a gimmick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is actually like very useful, and it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and you can still probably use your sticks to navigate if you want, because the games might be on other, like third-party games will be on other platforms and have normal navigation. But it's just that one little thing that if you have the Switch too, it's just a little bit better. Kind of like
if they do it and it works, like we'll see PlayStation implement it, we'll see Xbox implement it. Like every controller will have.
I agree. Nintendo's going to patent the fuck out of it. whatever the exact mechanism is. But other companies will just kind of come up with it. Like Sony patented the hell out of their pressure triggers. So if you want to do those, you got to come up with your own design. Of course, there's more ways to do things in one way. So, but if Nintendo pulls this off, like everyone's gonna try to come up. Like if Switch 2 is selling big and everyone finds themselves using it, like it's gonna become a standard. You'll see PlayStation 6 slip the feature in. Easy. That's the real one to worry about. I don't know if
scroll.
Microsoft's gonna care. But...
It'll be called the DualSense Scroll.
The DualSense Scroll. Don't just make it super. And by the way, all these companies steal controller ideas from each other, so it's whatever.
Sure do.
That's how things become standard. One company does it, it takes off. People find it really useful. See, other companies decide let's add it in. See, it starts as a gimmick, and then it's not a gimmick once everyone decides to accept it. So
Rumble Pack, prime example.
Yeah,
The Rumble Pack, and then the DualShock came out.
Yeah,
same generation.
Yeah. So setting that aside, I mean, one, do we believe that this is like has a realistic chance of happening, or is this just like a pipe dream scrapped idea?
I actually believe it has a realistic chance because there's a lot of dots that can be connected that don't take really much imagination. You know, you have the story, like you said, from a while back with the airport, with the TSA.
At least,
Yeah, well, I mean, we know Nintendo is working on new consoles as soon as the new one's out, or even like before it's out. Basically, they never take a break, and you just kind of connect that dot, Sakurai's comments, and then now you look at this recent rumor about the conveyor belt, and it's like, I mean, yeah, why not? And just playing games now, though, like since this rumor has come about, there's been multiple times, it's not just echoes of wisdom, but there's been multiple times where I thought, yeah, I could actually see a scroll wheel. I could actually see how this would be really useful.
Yeah. I mean, the Zelda games are the super obvious ones, because especially Echoes of Wisdom, because they went with one row.
Yeah, exactly.
Just why didn't you do multiple rows, or like a different button brings up enemies, different button brings up items? It's like, I don't know. What are we doing here?
Feels like it was tailor made for a scroll wheel.
And like when you have all those repeated items, like why can't it just all the repeated items be listed under one item? You go over that, then you have to go down to select which one you want.
I thought about that too. I'm like, I wish there was like a
ways they could have not made that be as tedious.
Yeah, like a favorites or something.
Yeah.
Because I'm using the bed a lot.
But like, okay, what bed am I using the most? Well, the best bed, obviously. So I want that one selected. The other ones, make me have to hit something to go select the other ones. So the last part I want to get to on the Switch 2 topic is because, look, guys, we entered a new month. Okay. It's October. All right. September went by. It didn't happen. So, of course, the hot chips, they're here. Not tonight. It wouldn't even be fun if I did it now. We're towards the end of the show. But October 9th, so next week's podcast, yes, the Hot Chip Challenge is going down. Me and Eric are doing it. Possibly our special guest, although he might be wussing out now. We'll see. But he didn't realize what he was signing up for. So he might be wussing out. That being said, the Hot Chip Challenge will be going down on October 9th. It'll be the first topic of the podcast. So I'm just telling you right now, topic 1 next week. It's already pre-done. It's my topic. It's the Hot Chip Challenge. It's paying the Pied Piper, the hot chip bet that it would be revealed in September. Obviously was wrong. So enjoy my torture and enjoy it for a 2-3 hour podcast, because I don't know how I'm going to get through the podcast. I didn't think about that when I decided to do it on the podcast, that I actually have to get through the podcast. See, Eric talks so much, he'll just talk all the way through it.
Damn straight.
Me, I don't know how I'm going to make it. That's why I'm just saying topic 1 is my topic, because I'm doing the hot chip. Because I don't know if I can lead more topics. I might just be like, all right, topic 3. I don't know how it's going to go. There might be some porcelain throne visits here to the show. So I got to make sure the other topics are ran by the other people. So that being said, like, I might give Eric a break. He might not have to take a topic next week. I'll have like stash double up or something. That being said, it's going to be really fun. I guarantee you right now, the hot chip will be in the thumbnail for next week. Everyone will know it's going down that night. So get ready for it. We're going to be advertising that up, because you know what? All the haters, it's time to come watch Nintendo Prime get tortured. All right. You've been waiting. I've been hearing the call outs. Come on in, watch me get tortured. All right. That being said, it didn't get revealed in September. So the reason I thought September basically was one thing. They put all that shit in August. So like, why? Why are they doing this? Must be something. Nothing. All right. Now it's October. Look, we have what, 6 months to go to the last possible that Nintendo has news based on what they said.
Yeah.
Right? Nintendo said this fiscal year, within this fiscal year. So, yeah, I kind of feel like October to me is like a last stand for 2024.
Mhm.
Like, if you think it has any shot at coming out early next year, you're thinking March, you're thinking April, maybe even May. Like, it's got to get revealed this month, or it's just not happening. So that's where I stand on this. But what do you guys feel about the reveal? Because I'm going to be honest, if it's not revealed this month, I'm team March. Because then at that point, if it's sooner than that, I win, no matter what. Because I'm a happy guy. So what do you guys think? Because like, I really thought it was going to be last month, man. That's why I was. By the way, I've done the hot chip bet 3 times. I was 2 for 2 before this. That's how confident. I don't bet hot chips if I'm not confident. So I'm not looking forward to this. So what are your guys' thoughts? So let's start with Hoops over there. What are we thinking?
So I agree with you. I think since it didn't happen in September, there's like a slight chance it could happen in October. Then it's definitely next year. I think that it could potentially be January, possibly. Which presentation thing in January. I think kind of ends up lining up really good going on with Pokemon right now, because obviously February and all that stuff. And the other thing that's been really like waiting for Switch 2 announcement, getting news about Legends Z and MIA entirely since February. So just know those 2 things are going on at the same time. Knowing that there's been a lot of speculation that too, and Pokemon also likes to do their own when they do presentations. I can totally. They revealed Switch 2, and then following up that in February, for Pokemon does their Pokemon Day thing, and that ZA is going to be like on both. I already said it was going to be on the Switch, but then they'll be like advanced and everything. So I kind of sort of buying into that now because it feels like it's not, but yeah.
Okay. All right. John Eva, what are you thinking, man?
I want it to be October because I'm sick of rumors. I know you love them, but I'm sick of them.
By the way, am I about to do the hot chip before you do yours?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he was out.
I am a coward. All right, I will admit that I am a coward. I'm scared to do it.
Cocky with those bets. He's just all right. Got it. I'm gonna actually see. I almost out, guys. I make a bet.
But also, okay. Here's another thing. I have it right. I have one. I have a version of it, but I don't like. This is like 2023's version.
I don't make that one anymore.
So now I literally was just ordering the one that you have because I'm like scared to eat the one that I have.
Don't do a stale one.
Well, apparently everyone that I've ever even like these ones, all of them just end up being stale. This is what happens when you pack like an individual chip. It is what it is. But
well, I feel safer with that one than one that says 2023 on it, and we're at the end of 2023.
You feel safer if it says it expires August 5th, 2025, because that's what mine says.
I feel better about that. This one I can't even find the expiration date.
I don't think that even has one on it. Those ones have I read.
But yeah, no, I hope it's October because I'm just sick of waiting. The original Switch got revealed in October, so I think it would be a good way to. What I think Nintendo's going to do is they're just going to do the exact same thing that they did with Switch 1 because it works so well. So why not reveal it in October, do a big showcase in January, and then release it in early spring. But I don't know. Every day I'm waiting. Like I get notifications every day about Nintendo tweets, and they're always disappointing.
Yeah, everyone can, and the thing is, all their pattern with tweets are just like done right now. They're just randomly doing them. It feels like. They used to be like, we're gonna get a tweet at 8 a.m. We're gonna get a tweet at like noon. We're gonna get a tweet at 4, and then a tweet at 8 p.m. No, they're just all over the place. So now everyone's like, "Oh, why are they all over the place? They're just gonna surprise us." And it's like, who the hell knows? I don't
Switch 2 trending no matter what. If they don't tweet, Switch 2 is trending. If they do tweet, Switch 2 is
like, who the hell knows what's going on? Eric, what are you thinking of? I know what you want. ASAP.
I mean, it'd be a hell of a birthday present tomorrow.
It would be. By the way, Eric Warner's birthday tomorrow.
It is.
Happy early
Ah,
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Hey, man.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
I'm here for it.
Had to use a non-copyrighted version there.
Yeah. You don't want to upset Michael Jackson.
That's what
what is happening.
What do you mean?
What's going on?
Dude, someone has a roadcaster. That's just game drunk for looking at. Those are the people.
I ain't even near mine. Mine's over here.
It ain't mine. Half my stuff's not working right now. Yeah.
I ain't even close to mine. I have to reach all the way over here.
It's John Evo, isn't it, you guys?
I do not have one. I don't even know what you're doing.
Some bro.
Somebody playing music?
Yes,
I don't.
This music that comes with a roadcaster.
I don't have a roadcaster. I have a Go XLR.
I don't even know how to use music yet.
It's done. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That was interesting.
I don't have those buttons anymore. I don't have those ones. I don't even know. It wasn't from my end anymore.
No, I was looking for the medic. I need a medic.
Oh, I don't have that anymore. I don't have the medic.
I'm feeling old, so
we got
medic. I need a medic. Yeah, we definitely need a
I'm
medic.
so confused.
So, Eric, when do you think this
God,
thing's going down?
I'm hoping this month. I really want it, mainly because this thing is starting to like not last at all.
Well, that's an OG Switch.
You have to keep it plugged into the wall.
Yeah, that's a day one.
Yes, it is.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's on its last legs. Just like the one. At least it's not like Yulia's. She's got my day one, and like there's like lines on the screen because the screen's dying, and I'm like, she just plays in dock mode now. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Oh, by the way, her also her SD card reader doesn't work anymore either. So she's like trying to play Fortnite, but it takes up the entire internal memory. You can't even have game saves on there. I'm like, damn it. So she's like, she went to play her Tears of the Kingdom thing today, and she realized she deleted her save file and didn't back it up.
Oh no!
So she could update Fortnite.
That's not good.
And I'm like, oh my, she had 1,200 hours in Tears of the Kingdom. So like this.
Oh yeah, see that's why I back up my games.
I don't know if she's
that
ever
very
going to
reason.
play the game again now, because that's tough.
No cloud saves? No
She didn't have it on. She never backed it up on the cloud. I checked.
Oh,
I'm like,
man.
oh, it might be automatic. No, you never even set up cloud.
See, that's one of the positives of manual backups too, not relying on just the cloud. I mean,
Well, to be fair, if the cloud saves didn't exist, you still wouldn't have manually backed it up.
Well, yeah.
It wouldn't have been a difference in this case. If you're not willing to turn on cloud saves, you're probably not willing to, hack Switch and dump your save file. So yeah, ASAP because your Switch is on its last legs. I get it. I understand. Let's go to Game Junction, man. What are we doing? When the hell is it? Why hasn't Nintendo just graced us and said, "Fuck the holiday sales"? Here's Switch 2.
Man, I don't know. I've got a lot of thoughts. I still think that we're going to hear something in October. That's my hope anyway for Switch 2. I legitimately don't know. I've ran through my mind 100 different times, what Nintendo could be doing. And it's, I agree with some other things that were said. My hope is that we do get an announcement in October, because that's what I've said for the past 2 weeks now, hoping
I'm
that
gonna say
it's
this.
October.
If the announcement is October 10th and they announce on October 9th they're doing it, that would just be poetic justice for the hot chip. That would be
What?
Yes, it would be.
I hope Nintendo hears this. That's all I'm
Nintendo,
saying.
if you have
They know.
any mercy for my body, you will let me push through the hot chip with excitement.
His body is not Reggie.
Yeah, but that's my hope. So I guess we'll see. I mean, it's hard to say. So
Sure. It's Sombra, man. Come on. You and I are having the combos like we did once upon a time. I need to hear what you think here.
Yeah, I'm still Team October, 100%. Yeah, and the reason is because, well, first of all, I wouldn't have ever ditched Team October. I thought Nintendo will just do what they did with the Switch 1. But then whenever all that September stuff happened and PH Brazil was talking about things getting moved up, and it does, and we see, and he says presentations, and it's like a museum direct, which is like, that's kind of random, kind of crazy that they did that in August. Then, and which, by the way, they had plenty of time. Like, they could have done that at any point in September before the opening in October. Yeah. And then we see them do a combination Indie World and Partner Direct, which has never happened. And that's like the last week of August. And now I'm like, okay, well, they're clearing out September. We've had a freaking Direct every single September in Switch history. This is it. And so that switched my thought process to September makes the most sense. It's happening in September. I always still had it in the back of my mind that maybe they do wait to October for some reason. And almost I'm thinking later into the month, like around that same time frame, because people are starting to do their holiday shopping now. And there's no doubt that like this announcement will somewhat affect a certain percentage. But like that week that starts on the 20th on Sunday, or Monday, if you started on Monday, 20th, 21st, that week, I think is like a prime week that they can just go live with this trailer. And I really think that they're going to try to do an early next year launch. I don't think that they're going to wait until holiday time. A lot of the leak reports and things we've seen have done that. I know like Tom Henderson, Insider Gaming, saying all of like the other, consoles getting announced in 12 to 18 months. Like we're kind of in his timeline of like, well, people need to start announcing games for Nintendo's console. And if it's unannounced this whole time, they can't do that. There's the accessory manufacturers leaking that's saying, maybe it's March, maybe it's April. They had that Christopher Dring thing saying whispers of, of it happening. Wait, was that I might be conflating two different stories. I don't remember if Christopher Dring was talking about a reveal in October and that was the whispers he was hearing, or if it was about it being launched in March or April. But regardless, there's a lot of like things that point to them just wanting to recreate the same type of momentum they had with the original Switch. So I'm Team October. I think it happens towards the end of the month, and I think we get like that super short
week
turnaround. Yes,
the
right?
week before Halloween.
The week before Halloween. I don't think it happens on the week of Halloween. That it's after, the week after Mario Party Jamboree comes out. Otherwise, if Jamboree wasn't coming out on the 17th, I would say that week makes the most sense.
Yeah, obviously,
yeah. So that, but it's not, as much as I want to say it's 100%. I don't know what Nintendo's doing in this console generation. Like, it's very hard to predict. But I do really think that there's like a good solid chance that we do get it this year, because the other thing that makes me not think it was ever planned for a reveal for early next year was that I know they needed to get their investors off their back, but why say it in May that they're going to be talking about the Switch successor, like May 7th, literally so early into 2024? And I know they said fiscal year, but why bring it up that early if you're not even going to be talking about it until February or March of the following year?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great point.
All that going together. We don't know about any Nintendo Switch games past, Donkey Kong Country Returns with a release date. Obviously, that can change at any time, but they held one mainline direct in the year of 2024. The other ones were partner events. Everything's so quiet. They could leave it quiet until next year, but I don't think they will. I think they're going to start drumming up Switch 2 hype. So this is the month. Let's hope, like I said, next time on the podcast, let's hope we're talking about the trailer and what we learned from it.
Yeah, man. I hope so. Please. Please, 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 please.
I hope they just use that same image of Mario peeking around the corner.
That would be great. I would
That
love
would be
that,
cool.
honestly. And they should just word it the same. Be amongst the first to learn about, Switch 2.
Learn about NX.
Yeah. Camera's frozen again.
Yeah, that's right. Perfect time for Thunderstash to take over, man. What are we doing?
Okay, so I get asked this question
A lot.
a lot. Yeah, and I reply to like all my comments on YouTube, and I got asked this comment, and when I saw this was one of the questions, I'm like, you know what? Let me just go to my comment I left here, and so I'll preface it in that part of the question that I was asked. The person had also asked me if I thought maybe Nintendo would reveal the Switch 2 on the day that the PS5 Pro is released. And so I just want to preface that. I'll read you guys what I said, because this is honestly what I would say. For the Switch 2 reveal, I think it's October or bust for 2024. I do believe that. I will say that I do believe we're still going to see October, but I want to kind of give you where my head's at. So what I had said is I don't think Nintendo would reveal it the same day as PS5 Pro, because Nintendo doesn't build their strategy based on their competitors' marketing schedule or their release calendar. They've always marched to the beat of their own drum, as we all know that. And if we see it in October, I think they would announce it earlier. So either this week, which obviously it's Wednesday. I don't see them announcing it ever on a Friday, but I think tomorrow is still a possibility. I will still wake up tomorrow like it's Christmas morning at 4 a.m, like I do every day, and check Twitter real quick just to see if there's any news, which I've been doing, I swear, for the last few months. I think October 7th through the 11th is another opportunity. I think we would skip Mario Party Jamboree week, which is the third week in October. And then I think the 21st through the 25th is another opportunity. And then I think we skip the week of Halloween, because it's a busy week, and I just don't see it happening on a week that is a day that's celebrated, not just in the US, but in other countries. So either week 1, 2, or 4 of October would be my guess. November feels a little too late to reveal a console that won't be on the store shelves this holiday season. And I think that could actually confuse some consumers that aren't as savvy as we are. Now, the caveat is, unless one of the Switch 2's biggest selling points, which we've talked about this before many times, but if one of its biggest selling points is improving resolution and frame rate of Switch 1 games by using DLSS through backwards compatibility, then maybe I could see that happen. Because if that's a highlight of the reveal, I think it could improve Switch 1 software sales. And ultimately, that's where the real money is made, on software, not the hardware. And then as far as December goes, I think it's too late in the holiday season. We all know that that's where games go to die, when they're released in December. And so certainly, except for Smash. And so certainly I don't think we would see a reveal that late in the year. And so really, I think the best move would be to either announce it before people start buying Christmas presents, October, or the beginning of 2025. And if it's coming out in March, which I believe it is, I really believe it's going to be March, then I think it's October. Like, if you were to ask me, obviously right now, which you are, I still think it's October. I'm totally on team October. It makes sense. We need a lead up to, obviously, Switch 2. And if it's coming out in March, we need to know now. And I think it would be good. I think it would be good, because I do think it would really improve software sales. and not to say that they're not good, they're fantastic, but I think they could be even better. I think people would be like, okay, like, yeah, I'll buy more Switch 1 games, or I'll buy my kid this Switch 1. And all these games,
on sale during the holidays.
yeah, they'll all work on Switch 2. And if he likes Switch, I'll buy him a Switch 2 maybe for his birthday next year, or for the Christmas the following year, or for whenever he gets sick of Switch 1, he or she, I'll buy them Switch 2. Because again, think about how many kids, we talked about this before. Switch came out in 2017. If you were born in 2017, you're 7 years old now. I started playing video games when I was 3. Kids start at a young age. Now, granted, that was Nintendo and there's 2 buttons. Things are a little bit harder now. But if you're 5, 6, 7 years old, dude, you're getting a console, right? Like, you're playing video games, I hope. I don't know. I don't have kids, so you'd have to tell me.
First, but yeah.
Yeah, but I would believe 7 years old, great age, right? For a Switch.
Perfect
so
age.
Parents feel good and say, hey, if I buy him these games now, this is good. Like, he can play all of them on Switch 2. The Switch lasted for 8 years. If the Switch 2 lasts for even 5 or 6, I feel really good about getting the money's worth there. So that's where I'm at. I think October, guys, but I do think it's October or bust for 2024.
I agree.
Yeah, it just makes a lot of sense. I mean, you can repeat the Switch, obviously. With all the holiday bundles, maybe it doesn't impact sales that much of the Nintendo Switch. Obviously, the software is where the money's made, anyways. So obviously, I want this thing revealed sooner than later. The only thing we know is by the end of March, and they could wait. It could be a holiday console next year, and they don't reveal it till March. That's entirely possible. We don't have anything to really go on other than this, and I do think at this point I'm a pretty big believer in PH Brazil. I think he has he's proven himself. I think pretty definitively. And one thing he has said, and he said this recently, people were talking about it being in September, and he said, "Oh, it could be September. It might be October. The sky's not falling here. I'm not going to tell you, when if I find out when it is, I'm not going to say anything, anyways." But he did say that he would be flabbergasted if it wasn't revealed in 2024, because nothing has changed from when he reported all the way back in February about the Switch 2 delay. He said nothing has changed. And everything he was told was this thing is coming out in March and it's being revealed in 2024. And he's been sticking by that consistently in every podcast he's been on, every show he does. Whenever the topic comes up and they're like, "Oh, when's it coming out? When's it being revealed?" It's like, I don't know when. I just know it's being revealed this year and coming out in March. Now, could March end up getting pushed to April? Of course. That's entirely possible. But it's still one of those things where it's like, man, unless he gets information that says otherwise, we're 6 months away. And we're technically, if his 2024, like it's being revealed this year thing, information is correct, well, we're in October, guys. We're getting towards the end for that to kind of change at this point. So that's my one little hopium that, you know what, it's got to be this month because it's the one that makes the most sense out of what's left. And PH Brazil said he would be flabbergasted, which is, if you look up the definition of the word, it's a very, 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 very surprised, basically. Extreme surprise if it wasn't revealed this year. It would also mean it's probably not coming out in March if it wasn't revealed this year. Unless Nintendo's doing something crazy and doing January, March release. That would be insane. That'd be the shortest reveal to release, I don't want to say ever. I think Saturn, one of the Sega systems has a month.
Saturn, right?
Yeah, I think it was Saturn. Yeah. It was a crazy, and that didn't go well for them. So I don't know that Nintendo wants to risk, hey, we only got 2 months. We got this in the Super Bowl. You better buy our system. Like, it's a little, you got to give people a little more time to have word of mouth advertise this thing for you. So,
well, yeah. We still got the 10th too, right? That October 10th rumor.
Yeah. I don't know how much I did that rabbit hole, and I went so deep into that. And the more deeper I went, there's all these people that believe it, but I can't seem to find where it all originates from.
Okay.
Which makes me feel like it's made up, but I don't know. Now the screenshot of that was fake. I mean, that was obviously fake. The screenshot of the hidden Nintendo video, that was just based off the rumor. But man, that's got to be fake. It's just got to be, or it's not. And that's why the rabbit hole doesn't end, because the rabbit hole ends at a Nintendo employee, and no one's gonna rat him out. And we have our very own friend of the channel, Paul Gale Network, mentioning that he had heard from a pretty reliable person that there was a commercial shot for Switch 2, either at the last week of August or first week of September. And the Paul Gale Network, I don't know if people know, he was in 2 Switch commercials, official Switch commercials. He was in them. So if you look at the timing of when he said they were shot, he gave a bunch of background information on when the Switch commercials were shot and when they ended up airing. All of it was like 30 to 34 days later, which conveniently, if it was shot September 6th, would be October 10th. And maybe that's where the October 10th date came from.
Interesting. Yeah, that's the thing, guys.
But
there's a lot of stuff out there that really makes me think October, and then we still got to go back to like the original thing, right? In that they freed up the whole month of September, which was something they hadn't done. We didn't have anything in September, also something they haven't done. So we had a back-to-back presentations, never seen it before. And we thought it made sense to roll out the red carpet, right, for October, or not for October, but for September. And then nothing happened. And this is the first time nothing's happened in September. So it just feels like it has to happen now in October. Everything lines up for October. Like, logically speaking, if you just look at what's out there, right? This is what makes sense.
I will say this, though, and I throw this out there as someone who I know that I am guilty of this. I want this system to be revealed and released so bad that everything feels like a hint that might be nothing. Like, I people make fun of me for it and think I'm already faking from it. Dude, I fully admit I'm all up in the hopium copium. I know it. But that's where I live. It's fun. I like the air. I like it.
I do too.
Yeah,
I always have.
It's much more fun than just being someone being like, all right.
No, it's fun to be hyped about stuff like that. It brings me back to my youth too, because I can remember counting down the days until Pokemon Silver came out. Or
you guys want me to talk about something that like, because people are like, well, you could talk about something else. That's all right, man. Here we go. You guys want me to get super stoked? Brand new NSO icons, Kirby, baby, let's go! And I'm like, okay, I can't fake that energy because I'm not excited about it.
Yeah,
like, the closest thing that got me a little excited was like the F-Zero games. And I was like, oh, maybe I can like theorize on like a new F-Zero game coming because they dropped these F-Zero games on NSO. We had F-Zero 99, but then I'm like, that's still hopium copium. It's the same shit I'm doing with Switch 2.
Yeah,
it's F-Zero now. So like,
have any of you guys fired up those F-Zero games? Because they're 2 fantastic games.
They're not out yet. The 2 that they're dropping is October 11th.
Yeah,
October 11th. Okay, I thought they were already out.
I don't know.
Sometimes
right after they reveal a new F-Zero for the Switch 2 in the reveal trailer.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Well, I'm hyped to check them out again because I know I used to love those games, so I'm definitely excited.
I will add though to what you said, Nate, that I'm like totally with you on that, and I still remember we always went growing up. We went to the community center. That's where we play basketball. We play all day, and they had a teen room there with like video games. I can't tell you how many matches we played in WCW NWO Revenge to where like it was the best and just so much fun. But as soon and again, this is in like the earlier days of the internet still. But as soon as those rumors, the first one hit for Nintendo Dolphin, like we could not stop talking about the future of Nintendo. Like it was so exciting. And that feeling is definitely still like with me today.
Me too.
With Switch 2. And That's what I'm
And
talking about. I like living here. I
Yeah.
like living in that
And
space.
the same with
People-
the Revolution. I mean,
Yeah.
with the
Same.
Wii.
People
It
can
was,
get mad at me all they want, man. I love talking Switch 2.
What-
It is so exciting. I've never experienced a console launch with other Nintendo fans.
Yeah.
What's exciting for me is
it's
more
great.
so the games that we'll get with Switch 2.
Yeah, man.
Like we're gonna see a new 3D Mario. We're gonna see a new Mario Kart. Like we haven't had those things.
New
Mario Kart's been 10 years.
Yeah.
I
It's been a
remember
very long time.
I have this cool memory. I used to go to the YMCA, play basketball and whatever there, and they had like a little dedicated room where they had video games set up and stuff for kids to hang out. And it was my first experience with Super Mario 64 because I had not gotten it yet.
Mm,
And my God, when I saw the visuals of just him jumping out of the pipe, man, I was just hyped forever for any new Nintendo thing coming out. Like I
Yeah.
just, and I played Nintendo since the NES, but that specific moment was like a game changer for me.
I agree.
So,
Yeah, I think it's a core memory for like all of us who grew up in that time. Was the first time we experienced Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time. It was very special, probably a special memory for all of us. And I get excited with the Switch 2 in that we're also going to be seeing technology that Nintendo's never used, like with the DLSS. Like I'm really excited to see how they use it because
Me
they
too.
are wizards and we know this. And so it's like, what could they do with this that would be really unique? And how are the games going to look? And look, you guys know I've been reviewing NES games, Super Nintendo games, graphics. It all comes down to the art style, really. Because art styles can age very well. We know that. You look at like the old Disney movies and how well they have aged.
Yeah.
The hand-drawn animation. And so graphics and art, they're all their own discussion, but just the idea of seeing what Nintendo games could look like in a next generation is something that's always got me like super hyped, right? Like I wonder what the next Mario is going to look like in Zelda and Mario Kart. And even to another extent, it's like, man, to me, we just had the best Mario Kart and the best Smash Brothers. What are they going to do next? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to
Exciting.
see what they do with the new 3D Zelda. Like, what's that going to
Oh,
look
man.
like?
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
what's a Super Mario Odyssey going to look like on the Switch 2? Like, are we going to see all of the hair follicles on his face? Like, what's it going to look like?
Yeah, not to mention we're to a point now where I would argue this next power jump is going to, I don't know. For me, the PS5 and Series X have been cool, but I haven't really enjoyed the games on those platforms any differently than I did in the PS4 and Xbox One generation, other than just slightly better visual fidelity. So Nintendo to have that kind of power on their hands now that they have all their teams merged together working on one unified platform, and the kind of games we're going to get with that type of power with the graphics, where I just think you go much past the point we're at right now, and it just becomes a law of diminishing returns where you don't see as much bang for your buck. I'm really excited for it. Yeah, I think we're in for a treat of a generation, and I really think that Nintendo is going to keep their momentum this time and not have a blunder where they go super down in sales because Nintendo accounts rolling forward. They're doing a lot of the right things. They've built up their own social media following. Like people follow Nintendo's YouTube channel, like just as it's like it's a news source for them in addition to all this, creation. It's a different world now. I think Nintendo's going to keep the ball rolling this time. And so
That's
I
a good
think
point.
it's a bigger jump for Nintendo than it would have been for PlayStation or Xbox, like talking, Xbox One to Series X, just because Nintendo has never really cared about the visuals, it's been a while anyway, since they've cared about being, a super powerful console. But now with this DLSS, like it's just going to be a bigger jump for them than it would have been for PlayStation or Xbox. So I'm excited to see what happens.
All right. Well, I think it's going to wrap it up for our final topic. We just kind of have a little rapid fire Q&A here at the end from some of these super chats that rolled in. Vanatra712, popped up with a $5 saying, if you could be an NPC in any Nintendo universe, which one would you choose?
That is a great question. I like that.
Zelda.
Huh.
Stamp guy.
That's a fun life right there.
Yes.
Oh my
Specific
god.
NPC he's going to be. There we go.
Does he, like his name is Stamp Guy? I don't get it. Like it's
Okay, let me think
Perfect.
about this.
Oh, man.
That's tough.
I swear if Hoops says anything other than Pokemon, then I don't know what's going on.
Well, I mean, that's like my default answer. Zelda would be cool too. Go wrong with that.
Yeah, Zelda, yeah. Gosh.
But
You know-
let's go with, you know what? Hang on, real quick. I got a good one. So let's go with, you never want to grow up. You always want to feel like a kid. Let's be Master Hand, just playing with toys all day in a room, creating wild Smash Bros matches with your imagination till the end of time.
Nice.
That's my pick.
That's a good one.
I just think it'd be fun to exist in this world. I just want to be some random, no-name NPC that everyone ignores. I'm in the corner. People just kind of don't even realize I have something to say in the Xenoblade world.
That's a good one.
I'm just watching the action. How you doing? Oh, you want something from me? Well, I haven't gone to the bathroom in 30 years. That's all I say.
Man, that's a rough life.
I think it would be cool to have a house in Kakariko Village.
Mm.
hopefully not with
You
a lot
know?
of pots though.
So there's a
Yeah,
lot
or-
of Zelda
or-
answers here.
Or maybe Lon Lon Ranch. Maybe
That'd be good too. Milk cows all day. You know.
maybe shack up with that girl at the ranch.
Romani?
What's her
Jeez.
name? What's her name again?
There's Romani. There's a few of them. There's Romani.
Talking about
Milan.
Ocarina of Time.
Milan, right?
Yeah.
Is it not Milan?
Mulan, like the Disney movie.
Gosh, what's her name? Maybe I got that wrong. Let's see.
Milan and Ocarina of
Maybe.
Time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Malin,
Malin, yeah.
Malin and Talon. Yeah. Her dad's Talon.
Yeah.
I still
Yeah.
pronounce a lot of the names how I read them when I was like 8, like, so, like, especially from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. All right, Eric, you got one? What Nintendo world would you like to be an NPC in? Oh my god.
Swanky Kong.
You want us to be the Swanky Kong? I see the resemblance, Eric.
Hell yeah.
I see the resemblance. Oh, that's great. That was a great. That
I'm
was one.
surprised you didn't choose Tingle.
Nah, because see, Tingle's my
that's-
hero. I can't be Tingle,
I suppose.
and he's not my
Fine.
hero anymore.
What about Tingle's brother?
Nah, that's a deep cut.
That is a deep.
That's a deep cut. You got to actually play the Tingle games to know what's up with that. Well, that was one of the most
That was a
fun
good one.
Tingle's Ruby Land.
got in a while on the show. But that is also is begging and pleading everyone to keep the streak alive. I don't know. You have to check with Tall Show on what we need to hit the streak tonight. Let's see here.
Well, I mean, the streak always.
Well, the
gonna
streak
continue
survives no
'cause it's-
matter what because it's a
podcast.
podcast. But if you want to add to the streak, we have to hit exactly 69 in super chats. And you have to check with Tall Show. He's got the count on that one. We had Boo Mini just re-upping her membership tonight. Just want to shout out to Boo Mini. Thank you so much for being a member for 8 months. Boo Mini then did a $5 super chat. Said, without giving away spoilers, how far are each of you in Echoes of Wisdom? And does the game exceed, meet, or not meet your expectations?
Oh, great question.
So I am about an hour past the first dungeon, getting ready to head into the second dungeon. It's met my expectations. I think it's great. The only problems I've had are performance and then the menu system. I mean, getting the items, the echoes is kind of a pain, but overall, I love the game. So
All right.
So I'm in decently far. I'm not going to say where. I'm going to say 10, 12 hours ish, maybe. I absolutely love this game. And it's actually grown on me as I've gotten further into it because even maybe more than Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, I feel like the do whatever to solve puzzles works so well in a top-down Zelda.
It
It
does.
feels like a perfect fit. And the Echoes menu feels cumbersome, but as you get further into using the same ones over and over, you can sort it to your most used. I wish there was a favorites list.
Yeah.
But you do start to get to the ones you want quicker, and then just like you can come up with new ideas on the fly. The combat I'm really enjoying. It's grown on me because I was initially out of like the opening area and that first dungeon, like almost tutorial dungeon, you can call it, that you go through. I was kind of thinking like, gosh, I don't know, very limited time in sword fighter mode, all the stuff. I don't know if I'm going to like this as much as a traditional top-down Zelda. And now that like the arsenal of different enemies that you learn as Echoes has grown, and the puzzles and seeing some stuff into the where they're headed with the story, this is a 10 out of 10 Zelda experience for me. Like I'm actually surprised it didn't review higher than it did. Granted, I'm not finished with the game, but unless it falls off a cliff, I can't imagine it not being a 10 out of 10 Zelda when I finish it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm like 3 main dungeons in, I think. And I love it too. I think it's great. I love the ecosystem. I do think it is cumbersome to navigate the menus, and I do think there are some performance issues, but like exploring Hyrule in this game has been so fun because you could just go up on trees and get to like places that it feels like you're not supposed to be there.
Yep.
And I think the designers want you to, but it does feel like hey, look, I put 2 beds together and I could get up on this tree, and now I can go to this area that I don't think I'm supposed to be in. I love that aspect of it. I don't know. I got a horse, or I did the horse thing. But can you make it an Echo? Because I feel like that's a wasted opportunity if you can't.
Yeah, that'd be horseshit.
I think you could just go to the ranch and like get one, but I don't think you can have an Echo.
You just echo a carrot and it comes.
Yeah, it's a summon mechanic. So you summons.
Okay, I don't have a carrot.
Yeah.
There's
And
a
what's
part
under the
2. There's a part 2 that you'll want to go do after a certain point.
All right.
Yeah. Because I was disappointed too at the initial. I got to go here every time. Like I was like, what? No.
But I still think like making an Echo of the horse would have made more sense.
That's true. That's
You
a
may
solid
echo
point.
literally anything else.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that they did require it to be like a more classic mechanic, but for me, like I'm in the Gerudo dungeon right now, and look, I was a little bit like I was really excited for the game, but then as I played the opening area, I gotta say the opening was a little weak, in my opinion. I thought it was going to be the concept of it sounds great on paper. I don't know that it actually feels great. But the moment you get past the tutorial dungeon and the game just opens up, oh man. Oh, the moment I discovered I could fly with a bed, I didn't have to, this doesn't have the physics of Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, but it's got some pretty damn cool things you could do in this game. Solutions to puzzles that don't seem possible totally are possible. Like I was doing something in the live stream on opening day where I was trying to get to this chest, and I got to it, and everyone's like, "Man, why do you do it that way? He did it the hard way. You could just go all around and up." I'm like, "What are you talking about? This is the only way for me." Like,
I mean, that's the thing. Like, you can do it however you want, which I love.
Genius that I did something that apparently the game was not built for me to do, and I don't care because it worked. It's kind of giving me the sense of wonder that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom did whenever you would feel like a genius solving something in clearly an unintended way. Like you can look at it and be like, "Oh, I see what they want me to do," but like that just seems boring. I wanna try something else. We have this physics system, we got these abilities. I gotta try something else, and it doesn't feel cheesy like Tears of the Kingdom. You could cheese a lot of things in that game, It doesn't feel that way in this one. Like, it actually feels like you got to be inventive and try. And I will note to anyone out there that is playing the game that feels like maybe the combat's a little stale, stop using the same thing in every fight. All right? If you get in this habit of like throwing
But the P hat is so good in the beginning. I mean, it makes everything easier.
I got to do the P hat for every fight, or I got to take out the electric choo-choo and chuck it at every enemy. And it's like, I get it. It cheeses the fights. I understand that. But man, it is so much more fun and enthralling if you actually use your arsenal, man. It just makes everything come alive. Because yeah, if you choose to cheese it, what do you expect? It's gonna be boring. It's like running around in Twilight Princess on Wii and just shaking your remote at all the fights. You're gonna win, but it's kind of boring. Don't you want to try some of the final moves and like actually have some skill at the game? No, you just want to waggle your way through. It's just not fun then to me. So I feel like you get as much out of this game as you're willing to put into it. And I'm willing to put a lot into it because I love Zelda. And I want to see everything this game has. So I want to see every combination of every echo and every crazy thing I can do. And so to me, I can't quite give it a 10 out of 10 because I will knock it 0.2 for performance. It jumps between 60 and 30 like crazy.
That's fair.
It's wildly crazy. Something like why this game isn't a lock 30, I don't get it. And people might go, a lock 30. Go look at Zelda's history. Most games are 30 FPS. Like it's fine. It would have been fine at a lock 30. But I also think maybe it's unlocked because when Switch 2 hits, it's just going to stay at 60 the whole time. So that's why they unlocked it. But they could have waited. They could have just dropped a patch or something at that time. But whatever. It's still perfectly enjoyable. It doesn't ruin the gameplay experience. It just is. There's key moments when I'm doing certain things and I'm like, oh, that just stuttered, or oh, my button press didn't register because of that. And I got to hit it again. It's again not game breaking, but it's noticeable. And so I have to knock it down a bit because it could have been a bit better, because it is worse than Link's Awakening that also had a similar problem with whatever this engine is.
I mean, it's much bigger than Link's Awakening, so I would hope.
They're doing a lot more in it, right? It's
Yeah.
not like a remake. Like you're summoning things all the time and messing with physics, and sometimes there's more enemies on screen than in Link's Awakening. So yeah, that's my take is 9.8 out of 10 so far. We'll see if it holds up. I haven't gotten to some of the more exciting story stuff that thanks internet, spoiled me a little bit. But I can't wait to get to some of it, because I've heard from a lot of the Zelda lore heads out there that it gets even better after some of the stuff I know. And I'm like,
Ooh,
this
Interesting.
Well, you spoiled me with the flying bed. I'm not very happy about that.
dude, it's just a okay. I
I'm just kidding.
I won't tell you how to do it. See, when you
All
discover it for
jokes.
yourself, most people discover it by accident, to be honest, unless you saw it in a video or something. That's my take. Hoops, have you played the game at all? Any thoughts?
So I'm a couple of dungeons in at like my third area and I basically let everyone else here feel. First of all, I really love returning to a 2D Zelda. It's nice to play and like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, sort of like a condensed, simpler version. Nice. I feel like it's not as intense, so it just feels good. That also like with the whole echo, I thought it's like genius that obviously the echoes are puzzles, but they effectively, with how you use them in made the combat into, which for a Zelda game I just thought was a thing, since Zelda was all about puzzles, and it's just like really to use some of them. Like I've been using the hat, and it's fun to just. I really love using the moblins, and I endlessly summon them. And so if you can ever, you just press it again, and then your last one warps to where you are now, and you can just. I love that a lot, and so it's super fun. I also like to say, for people who maybe aren't as much of a try, either because of the whole that, or because of the art style. I know complained about that a little bit. I'm out if you don't at least give it a try, because they're enjoyable. And since I saw someone mention it in chat, the music, when I hear that like main that's kind of
Oh, the music's flawless.
throughout the game. Oh, yeah. Me,
Yeah.
it's like
I've
I
had-
heard
I've had
reviews
that-
say that the music was the worst in the series, and I don't know what they were talking about.
I've had that main overworld theme stuck in my head like pretty consistently since the game has come out.
Yeah.
Like just going about my day. It's pretty
That-
pretty
that-
freaking good.
Man.
That
I don't know why people
overworld theme. I'm kind of a music junkie. Get into it, but like it, like all the wood perfectly. Like I'm listening to it, clarinet or a bassoon or whatever it is, not sound this good. I should not be enjoying, but it's just like perfect. So
that's awesome. Eric, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just working towards my second dungeon here, and I've liked it so far. There are some like we've all said, there are some clunky things about it. You know, I kind of wish Zelda's spin would actually do some damage. I mean, it's like, okay, damn it.
Cut the grass.
Yeah,
It's for
that's
cutting
all.
grass.
That's all it can do.
It also helps you move
Woo.
faster. See, I once I realized you moved a little faster with it,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is like Link's roll in Ocarina of Time. It's just
Yeah.
to get you around.
Yeah, I spin everywhere I go just for
Yeah,
that
she's
reason.
very slow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
where
no
out my
dash
where out
button.
my shoulder button here.
Yeah, one of the few working buttons.
Yeah, right. Shit. No, I've enjoyed it. I don't know if it quite has lived up to my expectations yet, but like I said, I'm only at the very, very beginning parts of the game, so it's very well possible that this thing opens up and even more, and I start to like it even more. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
All right. Is there anyone else that hasn't gone yet?
I have not went.
Thunder. There we go. I couldn't remember where we were.
So how far am I? Let's see. I am a big key away from closing out a chapter that would probably put me maybe 65% complete. I don't want to say what chapter it is
Yeah, because you're pretty, you're deep enough in. It's pretty spoilery.
Yeah. So my thoughts on it. I'm absolutely enjoying the heck out of it. To me, I would love to see the top-down 2D Zeldas continue going in this direction. I think what they've learned from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and the way they've applied it to the 2D top-down Zelda is awesome. And I feel like the top-down Zelda really grew. Like the formula has grown in this game to where we can continue to see more gameplay mechanics, I think, translate into the 2D Zeldas. And just playing this, like I was even telling my lady, I was like, this game is really good. Like, I would like to see this become a series, like a mainstay. It's so good. The first thing I was thinking is like, I wonder if we're gonna get a sequel. Like, are we gonna get another Zelda game starring Zelda, right? Because you got to ask those questions with how good the game is, of course, how well it's reviewed. And I still haven't even watched or read anybody's review. I just don't want to, because I just feel like people are not careful enough with spoilers that I don't want to read anything yet. But I would say, so far, I went into it with expectations that, this is going to, it's going to be a Zelda game. I'm excited. But they're definitely doing things that have exceeded my expectations. I'm just having a great time. Yes, there are some frame rate hitches, but I don't even care. I just don't. Like, I'm having a good time. And, when the frame rate hitches happen, it's like, it's not like I'm going to die in the game because of it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to screw up the gameplay. It's not going to put me in jeopardy of dying. It kind of goes back to that Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake, the whole deal with the 30 frames per second versus 60. And, it's going to screw up the active time battle where you have to press the button. It didn't screw up anything. And if it did, It doesn't matter because it's not a hard game. It's not hard. Like I'm not gonna die because of this, right? And yeah, this game, it's not very hard. What I love about it, it really makes you use your brain. I was also telling my lady, I was like, of all the Zelda games, like top down, I feel like this is the most puzzle oriented top down Zelda game.
I agree.
And it's really cool because like that's a return to form.
Yep.
And the puzzles on the original Zelda were like true puzzles in the sense that there was no internet, there were no players' guides, there was nothing. Nintendo Power wasn't out yet, so you can't look to them. Like the puzzles were true puzzles where you really had to try everything, and that was back in the day when video games weren't like that. Like the things you did in the original Zelda to find secrets, nobody else was doing that, so it felt brand new. In the same way that how we're playing Echoes of Wisdom right now, like you were saying, John, how like you're stacking up beds, because I'm doing the same thing, right? And I had family in town the last few days. My girlfriend's dad was in here watching me play Zelda, because I'm like, I got to play this for a review. And he was saying how he played the first Zelda a lot, and like he was trying to tell me different things to do. He's like, with Zelda, it's like, you always got to find the thing that kind of sticks out and like that doesn't make sense, and try doing this and that. I'm like, yep, I mean, yeah, you're right. And it was just funny. And he saw me like walking up on these trees, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to like be in this area, but that's part of the game, is like you get to kind of hang out in areas and like explore areas that you probably shouldn't be in, but maybe you should. Maybe there's something over here. Maybe there's a heart container. Maybe there's a treasure. I don't know. But it's that feeling with this game that's been really special. So I am enjoying the heck out of it. Everyone should play it. I hope it sells well. Hope it sells well enough that we get a sequel.
Yeah, no, I kind of have the same feeling. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It takes me back to some of the earlier Zeldas. It feels like we have way more options than we ever had for a top-down Zelda game, which is really neat. They took the idea from Tears of the Kingdom and sort of incorporated that in its own way to 2D Zelda. And I think the Echoes is just really cool, man. Like really, really cool, really interesting. You can get to places like you were saying that it doesn't seem like you're supposed to be there, but obviously they designed it for you to be able to be there. So I absolutely love it.
All right. We got two left here. $5 says, do content creators influence Nintendo's release dates at all? Do you think they look at global trending to let it build the hype? I don't think we influence release dates. I mean, unless there's like a ton of backlash over like a beta or something. But in general, I don't really think we affect release dates that much.
Yeah, I think maybe you could argue that people that internally preview the game, but not content creators, in my opinion, for Nintendo.
Yeah,
possibly for like Pokemon, because I'm sure they were probably planning on Pokemon coming out this year.
Well, yeah, I think like that's a good point. The content creator and the talking about a game being broken at release could definitely influence like the future plans of the next game. I think is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah. That's what I mean. So
moving forward, a case like that with like Scarlet and Violet, the content creator is just kind of like the mouthpiece for what a ton of people are having a problem with.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think some things can be influenced. I believe that all of us, the whole Nintendo community, influenced the Switch 2 name. I think it's probably going to be Switch 2. I think the rumors are pointing to that's what it's going to be called. But I really think that we all helped to influence that, because that's what we've been calling it. It just sticks. It just makes sense. Even though I would love Super Nintendo Switch.
Me too.
I think that would be too confusing.
Exactly. I think it would be confusing for parents probably that aren't as familiar with video games as they used to be.
It's weird to say that that's confusing, though, when the Super Nintendo did just fine, and it wasn't confusing then I mean, I don't know. That's just
It'd be
kinda my
better
thought.
than Switch U, but you know.
Well, that's a whole other thing.
I've been
Yeah, I
I've
don't
been
know.
trying to tell Nintendo to release a 3D Mario for 8 years, and they haven't released one yet. So they clearly don't listen to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get to our last one that we have right now, unless someone slips one in before the end of the show. Nintendo will reveal the Switch 2 one way when ready.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's why we're still waiting, because they weren't ready.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They have a plan. I'm very curious. Furukawa, man, he's first ever new generation he's ever launched as the head of the snake of Nintendo. So we'll see how it goes.
Check this out.
Uh-oh.
I just got it in.
Oh,
It
is
just
it
came
In-N-Out?
out.
Is it an In-N-Out burger?
No, but I do think I have that.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
nice.
Oh,
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Mine didn't come in yet.
Oh,
Hell
damn.
yeah.
I'm still waiting on mine.
I didn't even pre-order it from Lego last time. Like the Zelda one, I did. I saw Wario post this on, Twitter, and it was an Amazon link, and yeah, it arrived.
No
like,
GWP though. No
less than
GWP.
24 hours later.
Dang, man. I wonder why mine hasn't come.
Which
I'm gonna have to look
GWP? What
into
is that? The points or something?
No, the like the little sets that you get with it. Like I think Lego had a little pumpkin and brickhead for Fortnite.
Oh,
Yeah. So for the audio listeners, he was holding up the Super Mario World Lego set that games that has a little motion with it. He got it before pretty much everyone else, thanks to Wario.
yeah, and I ordered it late.
Yeah. No big pre-order early. I just popped up. Oh, it's available. Oh,
Done.
next day shipping. Let's go.
Done.
Yeah, I'm like, I should get this because who knows what's going to go on with shipping.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be an interesting place very soon. All right.
Yep.
That's going to do it then, guys, for the Nintenbyte Podcast. We'll go around the room quick. People can tell people where they can find you, and if you want to tease the upcoming content, go for it. Let's start with good old Hoops over there. Says he stuck it out, man. He was a champion. He told me this, before the show, I'm only going to be here for about an hour and a half. Here he is, 3 hours later. How we doing, man?
Doing good. And by the way, sorry, cutting out. I've been trying to fix it. So thing, but
Yeah, we'll have to do that next time. We'll do a longer audio test with each person just to make sure.
But
yeah,
it's always a good time to be here. Enjoy Pokemon stuff. You can find me at Super everywhere else. I'm always making stuff. So need to talk Zelda and Nintendo.
Heck yeah. Lots of Pokemon content over there. He's got theories and top list things and a whole bunch of stuff. Every few days or so, there's something popping off on Hooped and Hip Hop over there. Links are all down in the description, by the way, and Eric's posting them up in the chat as we go here. Since Eric's posting it up, you lovely, beautiful man, you birthday boy in like 47 minutes.
Yeah. I'm here.
You're here. That's
here.
right. He's here.
Watch me get punished next week.
Next
That's right,
week,
punished.
He potentially might be on a bonus stream because the 69 streak might hit 69. We'll see. We'll see. Well, I'm not nervous for it hitting 69. I'm way more nervous for Wednesday than I am the 69 streak hitting 69. But John Evo.
Yeah, I'm Johnny Bo everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and I also have I'm on two podcasts: the Communication Air Podcast and the Nintendo Powercast. I have been a little bit lacking because I'm a tax accountant and it's busy for me right now.
What? This is a busy time of year?
Yeah, people don't realize that, like, April is beginning of the year is busy, but also September, October. Yeah. There's
different tax reasons for the different times of year for different reasons.
I'm just always busy.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to be honest, every quarter it's tax time. Let's go. Sumbro.
You can find me, Sunbro Nation, on everything. I'm pretty much only active on YouTube, six video uploads a week. Very similar, if you're a fan of Nintendo Prime, very similar content, like news, rumors, speculation. I don't care if you comment trash down below. If you're tired of it, you clicked on
get it too. You must be getting it too.
People are pretty done with Switch 2 stuff.
Why am I
right now.
seeing this while commenting on all the videos? Why am I seeing this?
Watching, they keep giving like 6-minute watch time. What?
Yeah, listen. If you clicked it, you commented it, you hit up or down, and you stuck around for any reasonable length of time, YouTube's going to keep recommending the videos. If you choose to click the next one and you still show up, that's on you. Anyway, no, it hasn't been terrible, but obviously people are ready for a Switch 2 reveal. But if you like Switch 2 news, rumors, all that good stuff, and then in addition, just anything that pops up, like Nintendo Switch Online is going to be the topic for tomorrow's video, and like all the revolving Nintendo news cycle is what I'm talking about. So,
let's see here. Game Junction.
What's up, guys? You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, all the socials. It's at Game Junction Media. I've got a few videos coming out. I got one this week, and I'm working on the one for next week. PSVR 2 for this week, and then hopefully finishing up Zelda and having a video on that. So just follow me on the socials, and stay up to date there.
Hell yeah. Thunderstash.
Yep. So I am working on the Zelda review. And, I don't want to rush through the game.
Yeah.
But I'm playing it a lot. So that'll be most likely the next review. But I have a couple others in the pipeline. So just keep your eye out. There'll be some new reviews hidden pretty soon here. And you know where to find me. Thunderstash Gaming. Everywhere.
Oh, hell yeah. And you guys, you know what's up. I'm Nintendo Prime, host of the show. You can go check out our Nintenbyte Podcast Clips channel. Actually, guys, that's where you should be going. Gotta give a shout out. We have a new employee here at Nintendo Prime. My fiance is now doing all the podcast clips. So if you're enjoying the clips over there, she's the one putting those together. Shout out to her. We have a new clip dropping tomorrow from last week's podcast. So we're a little bit behind. Recent hire. This is a recent hire. But learning the ropes.
Put her to work.
Let me just say, she's doing really good with the clips, man.
Yeah, she did all the clips you saw, like the last 3 or 4 clips. Those were all her. She's already got, I think 2 or 3 done off of last week's episode. She's going to wrap that up tomorrow and then get working on this one. So then, we'll just have clip every single day up to the next show. So it's going to be cool. If you guys have been enjoying those clips, that's what's up over there. We are trying to get that channel, by the way, to 1,000 subscribers. You turn on the monetization. She'll feel really happy knowing that she's actually pulling her weight and earning some money. No, I'm just kidding. So, but we got to get a little bit further into it there to get the monetization turned on. But it's just a lot of fun. The clips are really cool. I know these shows can be long, but what makes them digestible? The clips channel. It's where you go get the individual topics. So, otherwise, our podcast is pretty much on everywhere that audio podcasts are. The most popular places are Spotify and Apple, but those just happen to be the 2 most popular places that people listen to podcasts. But we're on a bunch of other platforms as well. I just want to thank everyone for being here. I hope you tune in next week for the hot chip. At least stick around for a little bit of the pain. Whether you're here to hate or whether you're here for fun, whether you're here because you feel bad that I'm doing it, I don't know. I've seen some concerned comments. Don't be concerned. As someone who has put a Carolina Reaper in my mouth, I will be all right. Granted, I was a lot younger when I did that, but I will be all right. I will survive the chip. It'll be fine. If Eric could survive a stale one, I'll survive a fresh one. That being said, doesn't mean there won't be some porcelain throne visits. That's just part of the fun.
Yeah, I'm excited for next week. This is going to be fun.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to try the challenge the way it is, that you're not supposed to drink or eat anything for X amount of time. I know I'm going to wuss out. I'm going to be the first one. No, you know what? If our guest decides to actually do it, he'll probably be first. He'll probably be the first. Based on the conversation I had today, if he does it, he's going to wuss out first. I know Eric's going to beat me. I know, I'm a competitive person, so I will try to hold the line. But Eric does handle spicy better than I do, even though I love spicy.
Knowing my ass, I'll probably just randomly take a drink, not even thinking about it.
Yeah, you'll just be like, Be like, oh, yeah, just take a drink of my soda
It's
quick.
It's not even because it's hot.
Yeah,
It's
he's
just
not
like,
even bothered by it.
No, shit. No, I was supposed to
And then
not
I'll be
drink.
like, yes! And then I'll grab ice cream and just go,
that knowing me, it'd be like, no, okay.
Just dump it on
Forgot
me.
about that.
Time to. This is the one time I wouldn't mind hopping in an ice bath.
I did do a fairly decent job when I did the first time.
Yeah, you
I
were
can't
holding
remember,
up.
I was like,
Now, tip: eat something beforehand.
100%. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
Have something to eat. Make sure it's not an empty stomach. Anyways, Eric learned that the hard time last time. Not an empty stomach. Not the way to go with hot chips. Now, people keep that in mind if you ever decide not to wuss
I
out.
know that I've been told. I've been told all the precautions. I'm just a coward,
rub the
so I don't want to do it.
with the hand that you touch the chip.
Well, I'm gonna wear gloves.
Are you gonna do the glove? You're gonna do the glove? Okay.
Yeah.
I might think I'm gonna do the glove, and then I'm gonna be like, no, you boss hog it. You throw it in, and then you lick it off the finger. Boss hog that shit. I don't even know. I don't know if I'm gonna do. It sounds like a good idea until the chip hits my mouth. Then all bets are off. I'll keep a wet wipe nearby just in case. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's episode 23 of the Nintenbyte Podcast. We'll be back next week for bare minimum, at least torturing the hell out of me and a pseudo review of, a conversational review of Echoes of Wisdom. So that's 2 of our 4 topics already, guys. I might as well set the show up right now. It's ready to go. We have our lead topic. Come watch me die live.